lies. It was just
bullshit. What's the difference?
It wasn't lies. It was
just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit.
Who said liar? I said bullshit artist. And what's the difference? Because I don't lie.
Yo, it's No Lies, Just Bullshit episode. I don't know what. Thank you so much for tuning in. We got a good one here today, but before I get into that, I'm always mentioning Alliance Tattoo Supply because they're always taking good care of all of us at Alley Cat Tattoo and all of us at No Lies, Just Bullshit. So what you can do to support them is support us. Go to AllianceTattooSupply.com and just pick up your needles, pick up your power supply. They got cartridges, they got table drapes, they got Thermofax paper, they got everything you need really to run your joint. You know, they, like I said, they're just tattooer owned and operated. They're good dudes. They have Salvation Tattoo in Richmond, Virginia as well. They're always down to support No Lies, Just Bullshit. Anything I've ever done at Alley Cat Tattoo, they're just, they're right in line to help out. I want you to support them. I want them to be able to grow and sustain. And, I feel like it's good support for you to be buying your supplies from them. I really do. I don't just, I don't want to be involved with anybody that I really can't honestly be like, yo, if you listen to No Lies, Just Bullshit, I'm telling you straight up, these are good people. They sell good products and they conduct good business. You know what I mean? No shady bullshit over there. So AllianceTattooSupply.com. Check them out, get involved, whatever it takes. Oh, and if you haven't used the code, use code NLJBS and they'll take 10% off your order. So if you haven't ordered from them yet and shit's tight and you need stuff, go over there, use NLJBS, you get 10% off. So yeah, do that. Let me think here. There's lots going on. Man, crazy week at Alley Cat Tattoo. Last week we had four guests. This week I've got Nate Smith from Paradise here. I've got Chad Chesko in the building. Randy Hall just left. He just popped in on his way home from Scranton. Timothy Hoyer will be here in 2 days. Tim Lehigh will be here in 2 days. They're starting a collaborative back. It's just never ending here at Alley Cat Tattoo. And I straight up can't express how much I appreciate those cats and how much I appreciate every tattooer that ever stops in and says what's up and comes around. Really means the world to me, man. To get this caliber of guest artists is just incredible, and we feel very, very fortunate here. The whole crew appreciates it, so shout out to all those guys. And then looking back at last week, we had Weatherholz came down from Brooklyn, flew into Charlottesville. He's a busy guy. He's got a lot going on. He's got his new band, Night Sports. He's, gearing up for Pagoda. And that's what this episode is about. This episode is Mr. Weatherholz. We've been doing this. He and I have been cahoots for years and always use, bringing the word to No Lies, Just Bullshit about everything Pagoda and everything else that's going on. He came down here. He did some tattooing. And it was great to have him in the Shenandoah Valley. Justin's been a friend of mine for some years now. But this was his first visit down here. And we really locked in, man. It was great. We did, of course, the podcast that you're about to listen to. And it's fucking stellar. Even Mr. Chris Porter slides in at the end, and we have some laughs with him. And but in addition to that, we shot some stuff for the new No Lies Just BS YouTube channel. I'm really calling on you all for support. Please go to No Lies Just BS on YouTube and subscribe. If you're so inclined and you want to engage in any of the videos, leave a comment. It feels kind of corny asking you to do it, but it really does matter in trying to get views and then get more views. I'm just, it's just something that I believe in the Shop Talk series, man. I'm doing other stuff. I'm doing these No Lies, Just Bullshit Chronicles where I'm just sharing stories, short stories from my life. But I really believe in the Shop Talk, the idea behind it and what we're trying to do. And it has come full circle in a lot of ways for a lot of great clients and tattooers. And so I'm feeling really good about the trajectory that we're on, but it would be a tremendous help if you or anyone you can spread the word, tell them about it. But go to No Lies Just BS, hit subscribe, check out the videos, get the views up, get the comments up, just so more people can engage and so on. I'm trying to reach a new audience for the same purpose, which is to promote great tattooing, and I'm not cherry picking on my friends. There are, sometimes we do land on homies of ours that tattoo, but a lot of times it's people that we've never met, never even heard of. And if they're doing ill stuff, we want to talk about it. So there's a handful of those episodes up, and we're dropping more. There's cooking videos from my Instagram, but I'm getting ready to start recording a whole new series of those for YouTube. And I just love to have the support of my podcast listeners that are already sort of locked into the show. So that's that. Please show me some love. This episode, 372, I think is the number. Justin Weatherholz. We talk about, like I said, about his new band, Night Sports, him and Himbo and a handful of other big dogs. And we talk about Pagoda. We talk about its inception. We talk about this being the final year. We cover a lot of stuff, man. Like I said, we really locked in on this visit. And this is a fun, engaging, because a lot of times with Justin, I've done in-person stuff, but I've also, just because time, space, and circumstance, leading up to Pagoda, we typically do an Instagram Live, which is great, but it's not as engaging as this. And it's not, I kind of lose my charm when I'm not in person, which I know it's hard to imagine, but it's true. Sometimes I lose my charm. So this is me and Justin in the place to be, right here at NLJBS Studios in the friendly city of Harrisonburg, Virginia. And like I said, we locked in. We had a great time. Here it is, episode 372, Justin Weatherholz. What was the name of the restaurant? I want to open with this. Jade something.
Garden?
Sounds right.
Harbor.
Jade Harbor, Chinatown, Philadelphia. So, had you ever been told you can't order that before?
That was actually probably a first, yeah.
I could tell by your reaction. It was super surprising.
Yeah.
All right, folks listening at home. My brother and I are meeting Justin for dinner, and I picked the restaurant, and that restaurant doesn't have sit-down eating anymore. So we just go diagonally across the street because there's restaurants everywhere, and we go into a place, and it's predominantly Chinese people, which is a great sign. Mm-hmm. And there's a table with my brother and I, and Justin comes in, and just going to try to give the whole layout. I want to paint this picture.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
There's one white couple behind us and an older white couple. Everyone else in the room is Chinese. Behind you is a Chinese couple with two little kids. One's a tiny baby, one's like 3. Justin comes in, and we had already ordered a couple things for the table, and then it's time to order our entree. And it's like maybe a 55 to 60-year-old Chinese waiter.
Yeah.
Asks you what you want. You were like, I want this, and you pointed to it.
It was like soft bamboo something. I was like, I've never heard of this. Let me try something new.
Right.
Yeah.
He goes, no, that's just for Asian people. Pick something different. And you're like, what? He's like, white people don't order that. And you're like, huh?
He kind of gave me the up and down look, like and then you were like, white people? He's like, yeah.
He's like, that's not for you.
And I was like, you know what? Fair enough. I trust you.
And he was like, that's not for you. But I also think you've eaten a lot of restaurants. I mean, you can probably handle it.
It kind of made me want a little bit more, but I'm also just like, hey, man,
yeah.
I'm with you on this. Okay.
So we ordered some stuff, and this is the type of restaurant that in the back behind we're Justin's sitting across from us, and behind him we're seeing tanks with live eels. There's big shellfish. There's all kinds of live stuff in this place.
Yeah.
And
it's the Philly version of Wuhan.
Right. Yes. And there's also a staircase, to the left of the entrance, where there's a lot more seating upstairs.
Yeah.
And they're taking these giant surf clams up there.
Yeah.
And, they're so big that, a waiter's platter that could hold maybe 8 plates holds 6 of these things.
Yeah.
And so they're taking those up. And other than the Chinese waiter. There's 2 Hispanic waiters. And they all go, and I'm assuming that the older gentleman, one of them bumped into each other, or...
This was behind me, so I didn't see this, yeah.
But they took two trays of shellfish past us, and then they brought them back immediately. And I think the old man kind of said something sharp to the younger 20-some-year-old fella.
Yeah.
And that is when shit got rowdy in that motherfucker, man. I don't know what the Mexican guy was saying, but it was very aggressive.
Yeah.
And it was fuck you, I'm not scared of you, hands up. And this is all going on behind you.
Yeah.
And then the Chinese, our waiter, looks terrified. And then the woman comes.
Yeah.
And that's enough of you both. You both stop right now. That is enough of this. And the Hispanic dude just jumps at him again and says something. And the Chinese guy looks scared. He looked like he thought this 25-year-old kid was going to fuck him up.
Yeah.
And the 25-year-old kid sounded like he was going to fuck him up.
I do not give a fuck.
He was hot over whatever he said. And then it chilled out, and then the dude said something under his breath again, and the Mexican kid went fucking bananas. And that's when the Chinese guy with his family jumped up and pulled the waiter. I think he was, in retrospect, the woman's son.
Oh, interesting.
The lady who ran the restaurant, I think that was her son, his wife, and kids.
Okay.
He jumps up and pulls the older gentleman behind him and basically in Chinese said, hey, motherfucker, this ain't happening on my watch. You ain't going to do shit. Right. And then the Hispanic kid chilled out. And then the lady yelled again. And then our shrimp egg rolls came.
And I remember the lady, like, she was saying something in Chinese really loud. And I just I was like, all right. I was like, what? And I didn't know what was going on behind me.
And when I say behind Justin, the waiter's like bumping into you, and the lady's screaming less than 10 feet from you.
Yeah.
It happened right behind.
It was a hectic place, for sure.
It was rowdy. It was not what I was expecting for a nice Chinese dinner. But I'm glad to have that story now.
It was good.
Yeah. Did you go back and tell your friends at True Hand? Like,
oh, yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah, I was guessing at True Hand. I was like, man, we had a dinner. It was going to be like some mellow, just quick, chilled, whatever. And yeah, like, oh, okay.
It was fucking great, though. I love shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, I've been going to Philly, you know. It's just like, it's still like a holdout from the old school shit that I'm used to going to, like in the old Chinatown. It's just, authentic, just fucking.
When we split off, we went north toward our hotel, and you went deeper into Chinatown toward yours, or your Airbnb or whatever.
Yeah.
And coming toward us, like going in the same direction as us are Eagles fans, and coming down the street are Redskins fans, or Commanders fans.
Commanders, yeah.
And they're going the fuck off on each other, like yelling and hollering.
Yeah.
Because that game was the next day. And the next morning, they were fighting in the streets at 9 a.m. I could look outside my hotel room, and there's like, they're throwing shit at each other. There's cops separating people.
Yeah.
In the street, 9 a.m. Game started at 4.
Welcome to Philly.
Yeah, dog.
That is a classic right there. I mean, if you're a sports fan, you got to know going into Philly wearing your gear.
I mean, that's what they want. They wanted to get rowdy.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them. There's all levels to it, like there is anything else.
For sure.
And some of them are like, hey, we're a sport, our team, you should support yours. And there's others that are like, fuck those dirty birds. You know what I mean?
Who the fuck do you think you are coming in here wearing that shit?
Right.
It is a puffing your chest up, yeah.
But all in all, good weekend. Good dinner. The food was delicious. When you had this shrimp lo mein, I think.
Sure did. Polished that motherfucker off. Yeah, that was great.
All right, so tell me about, we got a lot to talk about. Tell me about the house you grew up in. We started getting this earlier, and I stopped him from telling me and said, I want to hear about this.
Yeah, because we're here. I'm an Alley Cat. I tattooed today. It's my first time at the shop. It's a gorgeous shop, by the way. Anytime you are in the area, make it go out of your way, whatever that looks like, to come see the shop. All the artwork here, everything's amazing. Everyone's super nice. It's fucking awesome.
Thank you.
And driving here, I was like, this. You could have told me I'm in anywhere Pennsylvania, kind of where I'm from.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I was just like, man, like where I'm from, I grew up essentially in the house that my grandfather built. on this unfarmable plot of land that he bought off of this farmer. So when I grew up, basically from first grade on until I moved out, I grew up in this house that I didn't have neighbors. We were just surrounded by farmland. It was all alfalfa, and then on the years, I think it was third year, they would grow corn.
Yeah.
So when they grew corn, and it was feed corn, so it wasn't like normal, like, it wasn't for humans, it's for like the feed.
For livestock, yeah.
For livestock.
But alfalfa takes nitrogen out of the ground, corn puts nitrogen in the ground.
There you
so
go.
you rotate it for that person.
There you go. So you know some shit.
Yeah.
There you go. But on those years that I love that, dude, that's great. On those years that they would grow corn, that shit would grow no lag, 10 feet high.
Yeah.
So when you would drive to our house, it would just be, you'd have walls of corn on either side of you, and then it would just open up, and it would be my house, and then it would be like close back up again. So it was just like I was living like Children of the Corn, like the movie. It was fucking insane. I just grew up around that shit. That's just how it was. And like I took the bus literally up until my last day I was a senior in high school because we didn't have any fucking money, so I didn't have like a car, so I had to take the bus. And for me, I loved going to school because I got to go. I'm social.
Me too, dog.
So I'm like, I couldn't wait to get to school. Actually, one year, I think it was my 9th or 10th grade year, I had perfect attendance. And I didn't even realize it until I got like the certificate in the mail at the end of the year because I just loved being around people, and I was just like,
there's more going on there than in the cornfield.
There's nothing happening. I'm home all the fucking time. I'm like, get me the fuck out of here, But so like I grew up around like like Amish Mennonite, and like once in a while, horse and buggy would go by our place, and so it's like.
Well, another reason that this looks familiar to you is because there's a ton of Mennonite here. We don't have Amish here, but we have, the largest concentration of Mennonites in Virginia is right here, and they're all surrounding us, and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
But no, my assumptions didn't imagine you living in that setting. That's the only reason I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
I just imagined that.
I love that. Yeah.
That I just assumed you lived. You're a city guy. You're you're Brooklyn like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
and even when you were working Long Island, you lived in the city and put in the work to work on Long Island. I just always assumed that I just didn't expect you to live in a field. I just, for some reason.
Super isolated.
Yeah. How many people were at your high school, you think?
That was my graduating class, was like 2 some. So my high school, I don't actually know, but
your
like
graduating class,
upper
200 or
twos.
something?
Yeah, probably like 270-ish.
It's not much.
Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah. Mine was way less.
Yeah.
But still, I was in the country.
Well, that's like the thing too, where like when I moved away, people are like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I'm like, I would just say Reading, because I'm just like, you're not gonna know, like the town that I grew up. My address was Robizonia.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great name. That'd been a great rocker for you.
Yeah. Holy shit! Imagine. But it's funny too, because
Great name though.
It was such a unique thing, because like my dad, my dad grew up in the house, and then my grandmother lived, he moved out, had a whole life, and then, moved back in, however many years later. And, but my dad, his whole thing is he's a musician. He's like a local legend, kind of like rocker guy. Yeah. The cover band scene was a huge thing, around the area. I grew up around that, and just always around musicians, like my entire life. That was like number one and most interesting thing. So like me, it was like comic books, playing music, reading liner notes of all these records, all that type of shit. And like my dad's band practiced in our basement. So like once a week, I was like, all the guys are coming over, and I would just like sit on the steps of the basement and like watch them practice. So just being around that shit, that was like.
And saying it's a cover band, like rock and roll of all kinds.
Yeah, rock and roll. Like my dad kind of had two cover bands going at all times. It was like a 70s and 80s sort of like, playing, Jay Giles band, playing like Eddie Money, playing, Farner, that type of shit. And then he had his oldies band, which is Flamin' Dick and the Hot Rods.
Yeah, dog. I was waiting for you to break out a name.
Oh, Flamin' Dick and the Hot Rods is the oldies band. That's like 50s, 60s. It's like Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, Fats Domino, all that shit.
Shirts. Shit like that.
Yeah, absolutely. They literally had the bowling shirt. They had those looks going on. And then the other band, the other one that I was just talking about was called Foreplay.
Yeah, dog. I was waiting for that one too. I was like, am I gonna have to say the name?
No, Foreplay. And then there's this shirt, their logo, which I had made for them when they did like a reunion show years later. And it's Adam Warmerdam's favorite shirt. Little shout out to Adam there. Yeah. It says, "If you like sex, you love foreplay." And I didn't tell them I was doing it. And at this point, they're like like in their late 50s and like bringing this shirt in. They're just like, oh God, this is great. But also like, please put that away.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
Did you have like a bunch made for them to sell?
I did a small amount because I'm like, I know this is not going to be like, but it's
pretty fucking dope.
It's pretty funny because a bunch of people were like, yo, where can I get that shirt? I'm like,
exactly. I'm sure they were.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's great shit, man. That's great shit. You know, I grew up in a house where people came and played music, and I still facilitate stuff like that all the time.
It's great.
And I love it, man.
Did you ever play music?
No, I never did. But, you know, I always was just adjacent to it, and I like I said, I would do my best to facilitate music, and I always tell people, like, I never play music, but I listen to music better than anybody.
I love that. That's great.
I listen to music better than anybody, dog. It's like that fucking, how funky was that fucking Use Me Up version I just played for you?
Oh, yeah, Bill Withers shit.
Amazing.
So good.
Amazing. What you
Super good. What I was going to say was, who was playing music in your house? Who put you onto it?
Well,
growing up, what was that?
So it was a weird environment because my pop, country, from a small town, and he played some country music, but listened to bluegrass music almost exclusively.
Play country meaning?
Playing like Charlie Daniels and Hank Williams and Waylon Jennings and Hank Sr. and John Prine stuff. That's the kind of stuff that he would play. When I say play, I mean play on guitar and sing.
Okay, that's kind of what I was at. So he did play music.
So he did play music, and he played harmonica, and you know he's the type of person if you just handed him anything, he could play it.
Yeah,
you know,
that's how my dad is.
In his older years, one of my buddies bought him an accordion, and he just had never even picked one up.
Yeah,
and within 5 minutes, he was just jamming on it. You know.
Yeah.
He played just whatever. He could do whatever.
That's cool.
And his brother played guitar and was more into rock and roll and would do like Skynyrd and Neil Young and that kind of stuff, which is funny, those two things, because they're opposite. Like they put out diss tracks on each other, you know.
Right. Yeah, it's like
but that's the shit he loves, and he didn't give a fuck about country music. Because my Uncle Benny, he didn't give a fuck about country music. He was just like, yeah, fine, I don't need that shit. That's my parents' music. My mom was from New York, and she was kind of hippie era, and so she played a ton of Beatles, a ton of Stones. Cool. She played Canned Heat a lot. She loved Canned Heat and played that kind of stuff for us a lot. She also liked the blues music, and she put us on to the Blues Brothers and John Lee Hooker and James Brown and stuff like that.
Sick.
And then my brother got into skateboarding. So he was like, he brought metal to the table, but he also brought Ministry and fucking Bad Religion and Cypress Hill. Like I remember there was a Cypress Hill ad in the back of Thrasher.
Yeah.
And it just looked like a cool thing. And my brother's like, well,
if you saw a Cypress Hill ad back there without any context, you're like, oh, what metal band is this? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they're all putting stuff on the table. My brother got more into metal, but then he bounced. So I went to like listen to a lot of blues and country stuff to my brother rolling out. All my friends are black. I just got deep into hip hop. And I actually remember a day I'm like hanging out with some friends. This was a little bit prior to that, a couple years before my brother left. But Easy Does It and Nevermind came out the same day. And I'm like with 4 dudes in a fucking cul-de-sac. and one of them's like, I got Easy Does It. And the other one's like, I got Nevermind.
Yeah.
And me and the Easy Does It guy went to his house, and the other 3 dudes went to the other house. And that's kind of like where the future would lie for me. Like, I just got more and more into hip hop.
Core memory right there. You're like, I'm taking this road.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had a cousin who had already turned me on to Slick Rick, and that kind of had blown my mind. And my mom gave us a Beastie Boys record when my parents split up and we moved into Section 8. She was like, she found License to Ill, and she was like, hey boys, these guys are from where I'm from.
Right.
Check this out. Because we were the only white family, so it's like trying to figure out and identify these black kids in the hip hop.
Right.
He's like, oh, well, you can do that too. And here's the Beastie Boys. And my mom, you know,
you like Beastie? You were into Beastie Boys? You liked it?
Yeah,
cool.
And I also loved how weird they got, and how they were playing instruments and doing stuff with the Dust Brothers and all that strange shit that came from them. Yeah. It's so unique. I would say my brother would. I don't know. He's a metal guy, but he might tell you the Beastie Boys are his favorite band. He's a big Guar guy. I don't know, but
that is kind of generational era. It's an era thing too.
Yeah.
There's certain stuff. You know, I think everyone kind of has that where you're like, I have stuff from my era that I like, and I like it because I was listening to it
at the right time.
You know, when you're 14 years old and somebody throws whatever in front of you, you're just like, cool. This is all new to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you you know, that's why there's people who will die for fucking Sublime, or you went to see 311. It's an era thing.
Yeah.
It's the era, you know? But yeah, it was a weird mix for me, and I'm just so grateful for it. Mm-hmm. Like, I listen to so much different stuff, and yeah, man, I'm grateful. Like, I care as much about and think that Slick Rick is just as important as John Prine. You know what I mean?
There's no doubt about it.
You know, like, there's so much shit that I love so much, and I'm just fortunate that the right people put me on at the right time. That's cool. You know what I mean? Man,
I wish I knew you're such a Slick Rick head. He does, I don't know when his birthday is. I went last year. He does a birthday show in Brooklyn. Like, I walked to it last year.
He probably brings out people too.
People come out. It's pretty cool. And he always like special guests and shit. Yeah. Last year.
I've seen him a couple times, and
cool.
The first time I saw him, his DJ was so fucking good, bro.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Rick's got some years on him. He's done prison time. He's, you know.
Yeah.
He's not going to do a 3-hour show. But his DJ did an hour. And, I mean, rocked the party. I don't know. You know, I know you see a lot of live shows. But also being in New York City, I'm sure you have ample opportunity to go to see a great party. Like, I'm sure you can find a hip-hop party in fucking Brooklyn any time of the year. Right?
I probably could. I don't do. I'm a little less like lock. I'm more into like the rocker shit. But
right, but you've probably. I'm sure. I know you've been to a party with a great DJ that fucking tears it down.
For sure. Yeah.
This DJ tore it down, and they would like play the Led Zeppelin song that the Beastie Boys sampled. They would play When the Levee Breaks, and then that would go into the fucking Beastie Boys. Totally. Like, you know, he knew what the fuck was up. He would play the James Brown track that became the Ghostface track.
He's finding the original,
Yeah, and he crushed, bro. He was so good. I was just so fucking happy, man.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe I was seeing this. Like, that's 20-some years ago. Couldn't believe I was seeing him. And me and the guy who's the chef at the restaurant where he's at, I said to my old time friend, I make eye contact with him. I go, let's go do a blunt before Rick comes on.
Yeah.
So we walk outside, smoke a blunt. Fucking gunshots pop off. And I'm thinking they're going to shut the show down. I'm really fucking stupid. But they chilled it out, and then Rick came out, man. He rocked the fucking party. It was so much fucking fun.
Oh, yeah.
He had a great rapport with his DJ. And then he just, like, kind of stood side stage. And I was lit, bro. And there's pictures of me and Rick, like, dapping, and in my eyes, you could barely just slits, bro, on my fucking face. But I walk over to him, he's got all the chains on, and I pick up the Angel chain, like the St. Michael chain.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and his eyes got real fucking big. And I just go, yo, man, I've been looking at this chain for 25 years.
Yeah.
So ill. And he was like,
it's iconic.
Okay, brother. It just kind of takes it back from me, sends it back down, hugs me and daps me, all the rings on and shit, and then we get a couple pictures. He was real cool.
That's great. Cool. Love that.
Yeah, love that.
That's great. I've seen some good ones, some good hip hop shows in New York since I've been there. I've seen Ghostface twice, and probably one of the best ones was Raekwon on his Cuban Links 2 when he was doing that record. Yeah. Me and Grez went to Irving Plaza and went to that show. It was so fucking. We have some funny stories out of that one. Yeah. That was an amazing one.
I saw when him and Ghost of Capadonna did the entire Cuban Link 1. They performed it front to back in its entirety.
Fuck yeah.
It was super dope. So it was in Norfolk, so it was a dangerous room to be in.
Okay.
But it was ill, son.
That's
so
amazing.
Dope. Yeah, and you know, like Capadonna, Winter Wars is not on there, but his verse on Winter Wars is like the biggest verse.
So good.
Arguably like one of the best Wu-Tang verses of all time. And he comes out and does that shit, and the DJ was mathematics with him. It was fire, bro. But I respect that you've seen Ghost a couple times and Ray.
Well, the one time I saw actually in Long Island, I said it was Ghost and Capadonna, but it wasn't. You seen the three together? I'm like, fuck, that's the good shit. It's awesome.
Love that. Love those records. And you know, I got all those albums within the day or two of them coming out. Mm-hmm. There was no. It was drive 30 minutes to Lexington, drive 50 minutes to Roanoke, or 2 days later there's a gas station in Covington that's going to sell it for twice as much.
Oh, I love that. The gas station.
So the guy that owns the gas station would go to Roanoke, pick up 50 copies.
Hell yeah.
Bring them back and sell them for double. Yeah. And, you know, it was like, I could get a day of, but if I can't make it for some reason, I just go pick it up in Covington. So, but I had... So 36 Chambers, I was put onto that album and Hard to Earn, Gangstar, and the first Bone Thugs. They all came out around the same time. And friends of my friend's older brother put us onto that stuff. And I just remember like being like, man, things are never going to be the same. And then The Cow came out, the first Meth album, and just hearing Sub Crazy, that record, I mean, I was just like, that's fucking bananas, bro. And I just became obsessed at that point with everything Wu-Tang. And then Cuban Link came out, and I was like, this is the best album that's ever been made.
Yeah.
Period.
So good. I remember my cousin got it, and I was not into hip hop yet at the time. I was like, it was too early for me. I didn't have like the right gateway. I didn't get it.
Right.
I just didn't get it. I had no context for it.
The same thing I was telling you about me with metal earlier. Like the stuff that gets you guys hyped gives me nightmares.
Right. But it took the singer. Like I was in this hardcore band when I was like 17, and it took this guy, and he was a little older, and it was like, he had this punk rock hardcore kind of like, he was older than me, so I like looked up to him.
Sure. And
he's like, oh, Public Enemy. I'm like, He's like, you don't like this? And I go, I don't know. He's like, what hip hop do you like? I'm like, none of it. I'm like, I don't know. He's just like, it was like that connection of just like the ethos of this shit is throughout everything else you listen to. I'm like, oh, okay. And it's kind of took like that little like nugget to kind of like let me rip. And then that let the floodgates open.
I've always tried to get hardcore dudes to explain to me how hip hop influenced hardcore so much. I guess just New York, right? Just because it's New York. Because Getting Fresh, the sneaker game, all that stuff exists in hardcore.
Yeah.
I mean, not every hardcore band does that, but like
there's a groove element. There's a groove element for sure. Yeah. I think especially with like, when you look at the Judgment Night soundtrack, great example. I mean, you have
which if you explained to you would be corny, but we were all so excited when it dropped.
Yeah, I'm like, fucking give me more of this shit. And then we got more of it. We're like, wait, that's enough.
Yeah. Like, we don't need a whole genre.
Hey, hold on a second.
But those were all all those groups participating.
Yeah.
Sir Mix-a-Lot's on that album.
Presidents of the United States of America?
But
a bunch of Seattle guys, right?
Yeah, but Sir Mix-a-Lot, what you shut that if you want, was before he was a fucking a real hip hop guy. The Fat Boys are real hip hop, dog. Like there's
for sure.
There's elements of the people that people don't understand, and Sir Mix-a-Lot's real hip hop. Before Baby Got Back, he was a club hip hop performer.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like I said, explained to us it sounds terrible. Delivered like that with like Helmet and House of Pain or whatever. Yeah. There's some of those tracks on there real ill.
It's Onyx Biohazard. What else is on there?
Oh, yeah.
There's the Slayer and Right now, people are yelling at home.
Oh yeah.
My brother, fucking so and so.
Yeah, my brother loves that soundtrack. I just recently saw the movie. Again, I hadn't seen it.
Does that hold up?
Yeah, not really, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
I don't have. I love
Ice-T. I think it's Slayer and Ice-T.
I'm not sure.
God, I hope I'm right. This is like, by the way, I could do a shop talk just on like I could talk music all day long. This is like my sweet spot shit. I'm like,
yeah. So the kid that shoots the shop talk called me earlier, and he says, "If Justin's willing to be on camera, we need to shoot something tomorrow."
I don't have hair and makeup here though, so it's like a whole
But so if you finish that tune and you want to do something, he's dying to do something.
Oh, I mean,
we can just do a shop talk, but I would love to do a music talk. I would love
God, that's
pick 2 albums and talk about.
Oh my God, yeah, for sure. Certain clients, I have. That's what it is with certain clients of mine now. I have that's like my favorite shit to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone that's gotten tattooed by me knows I'm like air drumming. Whether you like it or not, I'm fucking singing in your ear. I'm like,
the music was real low key here today, and I said something to Brian about it. And he's like, Sunday we always do this, but tomorrow it'll be a little more ridiculous.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot of fun. But so I used to have a thing with my friends in the CD era.
Yeah.
And I told you I had a house that's 20 yards from where we're sitting right now.
Yeah.
Doug, who was Sarah's manager earlier, me and him or me and my wife or me and any number of my friends. I was the dude who carried like every CD I ever owned with me everywhere.
Like
I
the book?
I had 4 books.
Hell yeah.
I took them everywhere, and I wouldn't pull out of the motherfucking driveway until I had the right fucking CD.
Yeah.
And me and Doug, or me and my wife, or me and whichever friend would sit facing each other, knee to knee, stereo to our left. I get to play 2 songs, and you get to play 2 songs. And I will play 2 songs, and we're drinking and just talk music, and then you play 2 songs, and we're just talking music, and we do it for hours, bro. We would do it for hours on it. I loved it, man. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, and that's a great way to like learn about new music. It was like, yeah, it's exciting. Like, oh, what's about to come on right now? Because it's like not everything. Someone had to buy it or burn it. It took a lot more effort.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's. I still like doing that shit now with Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. But like, it's it was different. It was different then.
Different era for sure. But just like hearing "Use Me Up" and asking you about that version, when you said no, I was like, in my head, 2 things happened. One, I go, I can't wait to play this for Justin.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the
Second, I go, I'm so jealous of him having never heard this. He gets to hear this for the first time right now. And then I just made sure that the ride took us 8 minutes because it's an 8-minute song.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I just wanted to make sure that we slid in here because I didn't want to hear nothing else to talk about nothing else. I want you to get out of the car with that in your head.
It's great. No, that's
how obsessed I am.
It's putting the experience of the song on a premium, and I really appreciate that because I like to do it with people too. Yeah.
Bro, I used to be the mixed CD king. I'd be like, somebody would be like, I've always taken a ton of pride in like, I want tattooers, I want clients, I want everybody to ask me, what's this record you're playing? Who is this? All that stuff.
Yeah.
And should we put that one back in the fridge, or is it good? I don't know how chilled you like it.
It's fine for me.
And so if someone would come and be like, yo, this is dope, and I would have hood chicks, I would have hillbillies, I would have older people, some older couple hears Me First and Gimme Gimmes, and they're like, what the fuck is that? Like the first album that was super fly before they did it 10 times.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, I'll make you a CD. I used to do it for every fucking buddy.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, yeah, I'll go ahead and ring you up. Nick will be done with your CD in 15 minutes.
Yeah. It's funny. It just made me think about like, like my dad playing all kinds of music for me, like growing up, and he would always be like, he loved like got into Alice in Chains. He's like, man, I really love the Alice in Chains band. He's like, I love those harmonies, like really dark harmonies. I'm like, yeah, it was great. It just made me think of a time I was doing a shift at Kings Ave, and this guy wanted a tattoo. It said Little Wing, and this guy he was like some bikery Long Island guy, had a chip on his shoulder, kind of like looking at me like,
really?
Yeah, you couldn't imagine it, and and he's like, I'm like, oh yeah, Little Wing. Like he comes in the room, and like starts to talk to him, and I'm like, he just doesn't even want to talk to me. I'm like, oh, this is like the song, huh? And he's like, yeah, and I go, and I'm like, oh, it's such a good song. He's like, I go, oh man, I love the Stevie Ray Vaughan version of that song, and that's what he got it for.
Yeah,
and not the Hendrix version.
Yeah.
And he looked at me. He's like, man, how the fuck do you know that? And I go, oh, I grew up on that shit.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, don't.
So
I got you on that. I'm like, that's like the last fucking record that came out of his, and blah blah blah. And I started dropping all this like Stevie Ray Vaughan knowledge on him.
I'm a heavy blues guy too, bro.
Oh, dude,
I'm a heavy blues.
Great. I'm not heavy. I'm like kind of like cherry pick on it just because. Sure. I hope we're not losing a lot of people here. I just start getting on music, and I can't.
It's hard for me to get away from it too, and it happens so naturally that it's like,
yeah,
we're good. We'll get to that. We got plenty of time. We got plenty of time. So, I love the blues. Like my mom loved the blues. She really loved Johnny Hooker, and then Muddy Waters, and I kind of took it from there. But I was telling my wife the other day, my old man, he's dead now, but he would just every now and then impart some knowledge on you. And I remember I was just heavy into blues, and I was listening to like Tupelo or something, like a heavier John Lee Hooker song. It's kind of slow, and it's talking about drought, and it's just like, everybody's going to probably not make it. And my old man was like, hey, boy, turn that shit off and come over here. And I'm like 32 at the time.
Right.
What's up, Pop? And he goes, you got to be careful with that shit. It's too dark. Fuck you up. And I was like, you know how like Hank Williams, every song's super sad, but it makes you happy? Yeah. It's like, it's the same thing. Like pop. Like I like blues music, it makes me happy. Even though it's sad, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
He's like, just don't go too deep. But also, what I was going to say, that dude didn't think you would know the Stevie Ray Vaughan. So I'm a member of the Moose Lodge out where I live.
Yeah.
And you're so sure you know what the Moose Lodge is.
Yeah.
And we voted for officers last Tuesday. And I'd never really done it, but my best friend's an 82-year-old man. And I go with him every Thursday to have drinks. We've done it for 16 years every Thursday, if I'm in town. And he's like, I really want you to vote this time, boy. It's important. I want you to come here and want you to vote for the president. And I was like, all right. And as I'm walking up, there's like a stage, and there's like two dudes. One dude that gives you your ballot, one dude that takes your ballot and puts it in the box, and then two officers just observing, so there's nothing going on here. And the one dude, I knew three of them, but I didn't know the fourth guy. And as I'm walking toward them, I hear the fourth guy lean over to the one guy and go, who the fuck is that? And the fourth guy goes, that's Nick. He's a good old boy.
Yeah.
But that dude couldn't imagine, like, the fucking catalog of bluegrass music that I knew or that would even live in Elkton.
Right.
Like, who the fuck is this? And that's what that dude, I thought he was. Sure. This kid doesn't think about fucking Stevie Ray Vaughan. But, a lot of people that dude's age, your dad's age, they don't even equate Stevie Ray Vaughan to blues. They think of him as a rock and roll guy, I'm sure.
There's crossover. I mean, my dad, they know the deal, for sure. I mean, like...
Well, I'll put it this way. Most people who are fans of Stevie Ray Vaughan don't know that he got his entire style from Albert King.
Yeah.
Every lick.
He talks about it in interviews all the time.
I mean, you can't deny it.
Yeah.
You just listen to the songs, like,
For sure.
The Texas Flood is, like...
Yeah.
Which is the illest, yeah.
So good.
So good. Anyway. We should do a shout out tomorrow. Pick two albums. Think about it. Pick two albums, any genre. Or do you want to do, like, one hip-hop on rock and roll? We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it later. I love that. My brain just starts like going. I'm like, well, we could do this angle. We could do this angle. Yeah. All right, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Cool. That'd be dope, though. Don't have hair and makeup. I'll get Sarah. What's that fucking band's name with the lead singer looks like a witch? He's got crazy bug eyes, a Jewish last name. What the fuck is the name?
Oh, the guy that all the memes have been coming out lately?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something Liebling, last name?
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Sarah,
everyone's yelling at home right now.
They played in town here, and they called Sarah, and Sarah, like, brought him a blouse and did his makeup and hair and shit.
Your blouse, sir?
What's the name of that band? It doesn't. I don't know.
Pentagram. No,
yeah. I can tell you. Pentagram. Yeah. Fucking hilarious. Sarah's like, I did his eye makeup and did his hair and shit. All right. But anyway, all right. You ready to get into the big?
That was the big opening. Now, Here we go.
Well, I did a podcast with Mario Dessa in Norfolk, and we did an hour on hip hop. We did 3 hours total. The first hour was hip hop.
Hell yeah.
It's really up to. I strongly recommend it to everybody if you like hip hop.
Man, that could be. I'm telling you, that could be like the other angle, and you could get tattooers just talking music on shit. Maybe, yeah. Anyways,
Bro.
Because I'm like, you get Rube and Grez on that shit too. Oh my god, they're fucking huge hip hop heads.
I didn't realize how hip hop Rube was.
Oh no one sees that shit coming. Rubendahl is like
shirts. It's the plaid collar. Like there's no chain. There's nothing to like indicate.
No, none of it.
Like
exactly.
But also people make assumptions. Not everyone gets the opportunity to really talk with him unless they're getting tattooed by him.
Right.
His time is taken up. He's running businesses. He's tattooing full time, and he has a family.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky enough to where I've had like plenty of free time with him, and you could get when he's comfortable and he starts being braggadocious and talking that shit. You realize, not only is he a tattoo guy, he's a hip hop guy. It comes out of him.
Yeah.
But on the surface, there'd be no indication.
Yeah, exactly. And it is really like high up on the list of like his music and all that, and like what he's into. He, it is like fully his shit. Yeah.
I just gotta get Grez on here. Grez is just he told me once he agreed to do it, and then he ended up we're gonna do it at Pagoda, and then he ended up not coming because he had something going on upstate somewhere. But I believe him. I know he doesn't do stuff like this.
He does not.
But I think he would do it for me. Yeah. But we have a great rapport.
Oh, I can't say enough good things about him.
But I would we'll just talk music. If he wanted to.
Yeah, he'll get into some cool shit. But that's what I was gonna say about Mike is I feel like I've been having this conversation a lot lately. You know, I did the opposite where most people don't move to Long Island, and like, so I have this like observation of, you know, all these people that live there. It's such a proximity game where like you have access to fucking all the cool shit, and then like it'll kind of come to you, but then you can just go into the city and do shit. So you have like, you know, Mike's, I don't know, a couple years older than me, so it's like he was like coming up when like the golden age of hip hop and all that shit was like happening in real time, and like got to see some. I don't know, you're just around it, and you can, you know, I don't know, I was excited.
And he would fucking probably see flyers and be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
The jizz is going to be there.
Yeah.
And just could go based on a flyer. I miss not having internet.
That just reminded me, like two years ago, me and Hembo, I saw this flyer. I'm like, this can't be right. The Blue Note, you know, famous jazz club in New York, Jizz is playing with a live band. And it was Old Dirty Bastard's brother playing drums as like the band coordinator. And I'm like, I got tickets for this. It's tomorrow. And we just like went in, like just sat and watched the show. I was like, it's fucking crazy. Like,
love it.
Anyways.
All right, so
can't keep coming back to it. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Let's talk Pagoda. It's time.
Yes, sir.
10 years in the game.
10 years. Yep. This is 10th and final year this year. It's time. Yeah, it's I'll just get right into it. Basically, you know, after the year 9, you know, last year it was after Pagoda 2024. I said to Joe afterwards, I was just like, "How you feeling about all this?" I'm like, it's you know, it feels great to do. It's really, you know, I love having everyone show up, and we love hosting it, and it's great. But I'm big on following my gut. And I'm just like, I never want it to feel like an obligation. I never want like a real bad year. I never want like, you know, last year, you know, the economy's going to fucking go up and down. Tat world is, everyone has their opinions about X, Y, and Z about it. And I'm just kind of like, you know, abbreviated version of saying it is just like, I just feel like we kind of did what we wanted to do. Felt we brought something positive to the area, to tattooing, and just like, I just feel like maybe let's think about it. Let's have a conversation. So we had that conversation, and we were like, maybe let's do 2 years. I'm like, let's sit on that for a little bit, and then Joe's like, I'm going to be a grandfather twice over this year. Two of his kids are having kids this year. He's like, let's make this the last year. He's like, I'm going to want some time. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it was just it was like a thought, and then it just naturally happened.
Sure.
Which is kind of the best way for it to happen. And we both feel really good about it. So we're really fucking extra excited about this last year. I got hit up by 2 other people that have done it in the past that want to come back and do it again this year. But we're like fully booked. I'm just like, oh my god, this is like, I've never had to say no to more people than this year, which is, you know, it's a privilege to be able to do that, but it's also
just so you guys know, he doesn't want to say no to you.
I don't want to say no to you. No.
We had a long talk about this earlier before we got into it. It's like, it's not designed to let anybody down or exclude anybody.
That's right.
But there is a structure set in place to be loyal to the people who've been loyal to you. And the show's grown with a certain crew of dudes, and you try to give them some, try to prioritize them to some extent.
Well, if you know, you have like these artists that have been coming back year after year, and there's like you can't be like, oh, you can't come back this year. So it's like, and it's a small show. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a smaller show.
Sure.
So I can't
invite everybody. That poster. Or that announcement.
Yeah.
Did you just turn your phone off? What'd you do?
There was a lot of reaching out, and then just like,
because you have personal relationships with so many of the people.
Yeah.
Like I want to say everybody that I know. There's nobody I know that attends that show that can't get firsthand access to you.
Sure.
And that doesn't always happen, you know, with every show. And I just can't imagine. I just imagine your shit went bananas.
There was a lot of firsts, and you know, it comes on strong and then it dies off a little bit, but you just move with it. But yeah, it's again, it's it really is it's a privilege to be able to have that problem. So, sure. But yeah, it's we're really excited about it. The lineup's great this year, like it is every year. A lot of like we have. 1.8's coming this year. Lehigh's back this year.
Yeah, shouts to those dudes. Big dogs.
Wendell's coming back this year. Nunez is coming back this year. Chris Nunez, he hit me up today. He was like, "Yo, can I come back?" I was like, it'd be great to have you again." Yeah. Who else? We got Rasher's back this year. From I'll think of more as we're talking, but it's
Mike Wilson, right?
It's great. Wilson. I mean, he's been there. I think
King's Ave, Mega Booth.
King's has always come through. Yeah, and it's like, I think this is a good opportunity too to say it too, where like I really want to talk about it, and like it's my doing this show. If anyone doesn't know, I do the show with Joe Johns, who owns Wiz's World of Tattoos, which is the shop that I learned to tattoo.
Legendary Pennsylvania tattoo shop.
Yeah, he said that. I mean, fuck, I started my apprentice. I got my very first tattoo there in 1997. Started tattooing with him. Started my apprenticeship in '99.
I don't want to set you up to fail, but do you know what year he opened?
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, fuck, he must have had that shop. He had his first shop in Pottstown.
We're talking legacy tattooer, like fucking, 30 years is in it.
The shop's there. Wiz's World is an entity for 30 plus years, for sure.
Yeah.
And I should know the opening year, but we don't know.
But I mean, that's a legacy shop, and I met Joe in the '90s selling jewelry in that area, and yeah. So how did that first come about? Have we ever talked about that on here?
So there used to be a convention in the area, and then it stopped for years. It used to be called Forged in Ink. Joe was a part of it for a year or two, but a bunch of other guys put it on, and then I think 6 years went by, and he was just like, "What do you think about putting on a show here?" And it was like, I'm someone that I love, all the bands that I've been in. I would always be like putting on the shows, making the flyers, doing all that stuff. Like I always had a good time doing that. And he brought it up to me. I was just like, man, and the SFO convention was going on. I'm like, there's this, that was like this really cool collector's show. And I'm like, man, we could actually do something cool in Reading area where I'm like, it's using. I always thought about Sturgis as the model. Because Sturgis is like middle of nowhere in South Dakota, and somebody had the idea to be like, let's put a bike show here, and it was a weekend, and then it was a week, and then now it's 2 weeks or whatever the fuck it is. I don't even have a motorcycle. I never did, but I know about it, and that was always the thing. I'm like, if you do it right and you make it exciting, people will show up. So, anyways,
and everybody that ever told me about the show before we started doing it was like, it's in the middle of nowhere. That's always the opener.
It's middle of nowhere, and I'm like, that's the cool thing, because if you do a show and like, you do like a big show in a big city, everybody disperses afterwards. Everyone knows someone else in the town.
You're inevitably competing with some other event. Inevitably.
Which is also true, yeah. So like I was just like, you know what? If we do this thing, we do it right, and we have like all these awesome tattooers in this small town. I'm like, people will come. I'm like, it's 3 hours from New York. It's an hour from Philly. It's close to DC, close to Baltimore. We get so many people from Richmond. We get, like people come out for it, and I'm really looking forward to this year to like really having it turning up this year.
When you put a blockbuster lineup of tattooers there, then tattooers want to come to it.
Right.
So they're talking about it in their shops to their regulars, and their regulars are collectors at this point in the game. So then they want to be there because their guy's going to be there to see Lehigh. Right. Or to see Jill, or to see whoever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like getting all these like West Coast people, we get people from overseas too, and just all that, and just like this is all happening right near. You don't, it's like even though if it's coming from New York or like I said DC or whatever it is, it's like it's 2 hours away.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, it's like they're all right here. You take a day trip and you can come. We have all these people over the years that are like, I'm here all weekend and I got tattooed Friday from this person, Saturday from this person, Sunday from this person. It's fucking awesome. But but it just feels like, also the charm of it being in a small town too. Like, I think that shit has a use by date as well. And I kind of like, I feel like all of it kind of is coming to the climax of this year, and it just feels right. And we're
I just respect the fact that it's not like factored into your income. Like, you're not being like, oh, this is
No.
You know what I mean? Like you're clearly, it's a cultural event.
Yeah.
And that is more significant than it being a payday.
Yeah.
For me. Well, not for me, I don't put on a show, but to say that you're inviting these guys here because, not to give away trophies or to have a motocross event in the parking lot or to have a fucking, or whatever the case may be, whatever's paired with, whatever's poorly paired with other conventions, your convention doesn't do. And it's just about like really, really high level tattooing. And like I've met so many great people there and had so much great, made friends there. My friends meet up there. It's been incredible for NLJBS Bullshit because of the opportunities I've had to record with people there. Awesome. It's just like I said, it's a cultural event. And it's really fucking done.
That's cool. I appreciate you saying that. And it's been, it's great. Seeing you do the interviews there. It's like it's cool. It's like all this stuff happening. It's cool.
The first year, I got Jill, Tim Hendricks, and Yoni.
Sick.
Year one.
Yeah.
Those are like, and people still go on about those.
Yeah. Still
freak out about those.
It's awesome.
Podcasts. They're all like just top notch. Amazing. Yeah. Man, one year, I guess it would have been 2 years ago. I'm like, me, you come by the room sometimes.
Yeah.
I like to have parties. I like to I like to hold court a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I got, I get a suite and I'll have like 8 or 12 people chilling, drinking, having a nice time. And I've got some young tattooers. Riley, you've tattooed my Riley out of Richmond.
Oh, yeah.
He's there, great. A couple of the young guys. And Slim Brown is in there. Slim's a rowdy cat. And there's a knock at the door. And Slim's stand next to me talking to me with his shirt off. And, like I said, maybe 10 other people. And it's Tim Hendricks at the door. And so I tell Riley, grab that door for me. And so he opens the door and it's Tim. And I was like, come on in, man. And he came over and he gave me a big hug. And he's just like, I haven't even been in my room yet, Nick. I'm pulling my luggage, but I heard this was your spot and I want to come and say hi. And I was like, I won't tell you what he really said, but it was something like that. It was very nice.
Cool.
Anyway, we're talking and it's chatting up, and Slim's just standing there looking at him for the longest time. And I go, hey, Tim, forgive me. This is my dear friend Slim Brown. Slim, that's Tim Hendricks. And he's like, I know, man. I know who that is. He's like, damn, man. I don't want to suck your dick or nothing, but you're Tim Hendricks. And Tim goes, don't suck my dick, because when I see you tomorrow on the floor, it's going to be so weird.
It's going to be so weird.
But the whole room erupted, But I've had a ton of moments like that that we weren't recorded, that were just us having a great fucking time.
That's awesome.
And it just means a lot to me. I love that show, man. So I hate to see it go, but I also understand you can't do it forever, and you haven't had a miss. And there's a lot of buzz about this being the last one. It's gonna be, everyone's gonna be excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, I imagine you're probably gonna be crying on the karaoke floor.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna be.
I don't really crying, but.
You know how many people have asked me, like, what's the last song gonna be? I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't fucking know. Yeah, so many people did. It's like, and I gotta give Frankie a shout out on here. Frankie, his Instagram is Death Cloak. Not everyone knows him through that.
Yeah.
But it's Frankie. But he's given me 2 like really crucial things for this show. The first year there was no photo booth, there was no karaoke or anything like that. Because I was just like, well, the karaoke thing too was just like, that wasn't my idea. Frankie's like, you should do karaoke. I'm like, I don't know, people like that? I'm like, it can get really annoying real quick. And he's like, yeah, but if you just do it one of the days, like, he gave me that idea. And same thing with the photo booth too. He's like, people love a photo booth. I'm like, fuck, you're right. I'm like, I'm going to do that.
I mean,
it worked out.
Those are the things that are most talked about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's simple little things that are just like fun. It's just like, you can walk outside of the tent a little bit and like get away from the karaoke if it gets a little annoying and loud and all that. But it's cool. I mean, those are for me when it's really popping off and everyone's out there. A lot of people leave and go get dinner and they come back and like everyone just starts filtering in again. It's like a second wave of the party. I'm just like, I do take those moments to look around and see everyone hanging out. I see this person, I see Bob Tyrell talking to Jason Ochoa. I see, just like, and just like all these different like tattooers from all these different generations, and just like it's certainly not lost on me. I think it's fucking awesome, and it's
And then when it's all said and done, and the bar has shut down, Derek Noble will come with 4 30-packs and set them on the table and be like, "Everyone, enjoy yourselves." And it's fucking 3 o'clock in the morning, and everyone else is gone, but there are fucking 40 people who want to drink 2 more beers.
Yes, and when you say 2 more beers, you mean something else and fucking 3 or 10 more beers.
But that's part of the fucking scene.
Which is great. Yeah, and that's the nice thing about just like being in a small area and just being able to take the shit over and be like, the hotel shuts the fuck up. And in the most respectable way,
Absolutely.
And just
great.
be like,
and
this crowd, and they've always said over the years, like, hey, this crowd treats us the best. When they have all the corporate people in there, they're just like the fucking ding dongs, shitheads. Like your crowd is just, we're for the
crowd.
people.
Our crowd tips good.
Yeah, we tip.
Our crowd knows what it's like to bust your ass washing dishes or fucking waiting tables. And those girls at the bar, they holler my name when I come through the lobby with my luggage on day one.
Yeah.
Like, they're excited to see me. It's the same girls every fucking game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man,
great.
it's such a fucking good show. And for that party, for that karaoke party, like, my crew winds down. I feel bad because Porter's usually the one he ends up tattooing late. Sometimes he's always like the late guy. But I respect that he just wants to get as much in as he can. He's there to work, and I respect it. But the rest of my crew start trickling away from the booth. The girls go do their makeup and hair, and everyone meets up in my room, and it'll be 5 or 6 of our friends. Jesse Struthers always.
Best smile in the biz.
Best in the biz, and we'll party till like 11.
Yeah.
And then we'll come down.
Yeah.
So y'all are warmed up.
I love that shit.
I step out, I smoke a joint, then I light a really good cigar, and then
You got AJ coming out, hanging out, talking to you.
That's my guy, bro.
AJ, what's up?
Shouts to the kid, bro. Like we make them like that's I understand he's a father. He's not. He's a busy guy. He's not always there. I invite him down here constantly, and I understand.
AJ?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's tough to get away, right?
Yeah.
People from Long Island don't fucking go anywhere, but he comes to Pagoda. I just recently saw, Giannis Pappas, the comedian Giannis Pappas.
I do. Yeah.
He's got a Long Island bit about how far they're willing to go. It's amazing, but AJ and Sarah and I always smoke a cigar. We always.
Sarah loves the cigar.
Yeah, dude.
It's from her dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she and I and AJ, and then my crew's around and we blaze a little bit too. But like that party is our hang time. We hang a lot at the KA booth. I go to the booth every day for a while.
Of course.
Because I feel really lucky to have made the friends I've made in this business.
Same.
From the 90s all the way up. Like I told you earlier, I met Rodney Raines, Angelo. I met those dudes in 97, 98.
Yep.
I've always called Rodney the King of the South. Like, people sleep on how good this motherfucker is.
Oh, totally.
There's he's unmatched.
His shit the last year or two, by the way.
The drawings are so incredibly strong.
Yeah.
Anyway, like my brother's getting his back, ass, and thighs by Lehigh, and then Rodney's gonna connect the thighs all the way wrap around.
Amazing.
It's gonna be ill. Yeah, man. So I feel so fortunate for the friends I've made, and a lot of those things at Pagoda, man, they're just year after year. It's like Glenn. There's just a handful of homies, man.
Yeah.
Smalley. It's gonna be a big time this year.
It's good, and all the West Coast. Yeah, Jay Watkins, he's coming back this year too. I'm stoked.
Paul Doble. There's never been a sweeter guy in my life.
Best. Love it.
He's a fucking wild man. I'm not gonna tell on him, but I've definitely seen him drink a half gallon of grape vodka from the bottle. Not the whole half gallon, but he'll be like, "Oh, you're partying in your room? I'll come by."
Yeah.
And he's got a cheap half gallon of grape vodka that he's just chugging and sharing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So much fun. He's the best, man.
Yeah.
I love Paul. I'm dying to get him here. Maybe I can get him to do the maybe before or after Pagoda. Maybe get him to come here or something.
I think you can make it happen for sure. Yeah, it's good. Also, I think it's on the fence. It's not 100% yet. No pressure, but I think Austin Maples is going to come this year too.
Oh, okay, right on.
Which is great.
I don't know.
Austin's not a big convention guy at all. So, and I also let him off the hook for that because I love the guy. Chris Kahn also said he might be coming this year. Yeah, he's not tattooing, but he's gonna bring pains and
Sure. But that also brings a level of.
I'm like, there's people I'm not thinking of.
Yeah.
There's
Chris
that,
Kahn brings a level of mystique
for sure.
That like people are like, ooh, Chris Kahn.
He did the 5th or 6th year of our show. Also, Brian Burke's coming back this year too, which is fucking awesome. I started thinking about like the West Coast. I'm like, oh yeah, he's coming down too. That's great. Yeah, it's exciting. It's a privilege. It's awesome.
Grez did the flyer, right?
Grez did the flyer this year. Shout out Grez.
It's frustrating that
it's love fest with him. I want to just say a million good things about him, but
Well, I'll say good and bad things about this prick. The good thing is when I walk in to Kings Avenue,
yeah,
he treats me like we grew up together.
Yeah,
he's so incredibly nice to me.
Yeah,
he stops what he's doing. He takes time. He makes people wait so that he can be nice to me and talk for as long as I want him to. He's always nice to me.
Yeah, he's clocking everyone in the room and making sure everyone feels good.
He's great, man.
This is great.
He's great. Yeah. And if you get him, whatever subject you get him on, he's more knowledgeable than you realized. And he's just a smart fucking guy. Him and Bruno were close. And Brian was telling me years ago about how great he was. And I was like, okay, but I never met him. And then he did a sleeve on Brian's wife.
Yeah.
And I've just never seen that black in my life.
Yeah.
I've never seen a tattoo that solid in my life.
Yeah.
And so I said the nice things about him. It really frustrates me that he doesn't share more. I understand why he doesn't share more of his tattoos.
Yeah.
But if he did, he's in the Garver conversation. Like he's in the Philip Liu conversation. Like he's like, you can't tell me a better tattooer than Grez.
Yeah.
You might say, that Garver's as good, or Mike Wilson's as good, or Tim, or there's a handful of guys that are like, but you can't show me somebody that tattoos better than him. And so that's the only thing but I also respect the mystique behind it. But his shit is so ill that not enough people know it, in my opinion. Check the hashtag Grez.
Yeah. Hashtag Grez for sure. Yeah. He really values his privacy and his he thinks about legacy, I think, in a way that is only his. And and he really I think that's really at the end of the day the thing with him. He thinks about all the stuff in a way that's like a more 360 thing, and not just he just knows what he wants it to look like down the road, and he likes he works hard, and he likes to have that control of it too.
I respect it,
which is great.
But as a tattoo fan, man,
it's part of his personality. Yeah, it's his thing. Yeah. And it was it's funny too. When I asked him to do it this year.
And also, sorry to cut you off, but I also want to say this, and it's what Bruno would always tell me too. It's available. The magic is available. I'm talking as if you can't see it. You can see it.
For sure.
You email Kings Avenue, you save up a little bread, you can go and get first-hand access to Grez. It's doable. So I don't want to make it sound like he's not accessible, because he's fully accessible.
You can literally go on kingsavenuetattoo.com right now
and book an appointment.
Book an appointment right now.
So go do that. I don't want to indicate that that's not possible. It fully is.
Yeah.
So, and I respect the fuck out of the fact that, if you want it, come get it. And I know Grez is a humble guy, and he's a nice guy, and he wouldn't say that maybe to me, but there's the Bruno, because Bruno would put out a little bit more stuff than Grez does.
Yeah.
But Bruno would be like, hey man, the magic exists right here at this address. Come on down.
Yeah.
You can come get it. You can come get tattoos.
Yeah.
And so that's not lost on me.
No, totally.
Just want to be clear.
Absolutely.
You can go get tattooed by Grez. It's possible. You should. If you love tattoos, you should.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
That's great.
Well, I didn't want to make it be like he's not attainable.
I don't think.
You can't,
It's not that at all. No. I forgot what I was going to say, but Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say. This is a cool detail. I don't know if people know this. So when I first went in to get tattooed at Kings Avenue, I knew Grez's name and wasn't super familiar. It was, it was just different time then and all that. But we got along right away, and actually kind of more on the music tip right away. I was like, man, what's playing right now? And Mike would be like, Grez, what is this?
Yeah.
And Grez playing whatever. And we were like talking, blah, blah, blah. But he's like, oh, you're from PA? I'm like, yeah, I worked at Wizards World. He's like, oh, shit. He's like, well, I learned a tattoo from Ron, from King Ron. Yeah. And I don't know if everyone at home knows that, but I'm trying to think of his Instagram. It's King Ron, like 5'1". I don't know. Anyways, shout out to Ron anyways. But Ron worked at Wizards World for years, and I came, I think, maybe like a year or so after Ron left, and he went up to go open Halo with DJ Rose, and Grez ended up learning how to tattoo. Yeah. Shout out to those guys as well. And Grez ended up learning from Ron.
King Ron 315.
315, there we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, Grez learned from him, so he's like, oh yeah, Joe's like my tattoo grandpa.
Oh, shit.
So he'd say all the time, I'm like, oh, that's fucking great. So we made that connection. I was like, oh, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And we joke around about that now, but it's great.
Man, what was it like? You've tattooed in the room you tattooed in right now is top notch. But what was some of those days like of tattooing in the fucking bullpen at Kings Avenue with Mike and Grez, and then you could probably tell me a day where there was the biggest hitters you've ever worked with. But I mean, were you? I know there was times where you had to been like, I hope nobody walks over here and looks at what I'm doing.
It's. I mean,
not that you were doing anything bad.
No,
but
no,
you know
no.
that feeling.
That was like coming to sorts and like basically like reconciling the fact that I'm like working at the top of there's not another shop where you could like, where do you want to go work? I'm like, well, King's App, but I didn't think that was an option. I never asked, but I was like, it was the right place, right time that I got asked. I was like, so when I moved to New York, I'm like, well, if he didn't want me here and I shouldn't be here, then I wouldn't be.
You wouldn't be here. Yeah.
So I tried to like keep that in mind, but I'm like shook every day going into work. I mean, I would really like that first year. I really didn't do anything else, but I'd go home after working all day and just drawing. I'm like, I need to redo everything. Like I have this light shined like
and in
on
the
me
early
right
days,
now.
he's critiquing shit
So,
too, right? Like asking you to say stuff?
Yeah, but like those guys are like in the best possible way. It's like, and I asked a lot of questions.
Sure. Well, they probably looked at it.
Usually, I was just like, hey, look at this. Tell me what's wrong.
If you're asking the right questions, then they know what direction you're moving in, so they don't have to over critique it. If you're asking the right question, if you're correcting yourself by saying, should this be that way?
Yes.
Then they know that you're moving in the direction they want you to.
Yeah.
Right?
100%. And that's, I'm sure you have tattooers from all different kinds of levels listening to this right now. I cannot stress this enough. If you're in a shop where you have one person that you think that you like their shit, on the daily, be like, this is the best question you can ask. Hey, I just did this drawing. What's wrong? What do you see? What's wrong? What's right? What do you see in this? Yeah. And just fucking take yourself out of the equation and just do that as much as you can, because the more you do that, it's just fucking pure gold from there. I mean, working. So that was the thing. I was just like working at this place where I'm like with like my idol. Ruben Dahl is like my idol. I was just like, I want to learn everything. Like, so like I don't want to be too annoying. But I'm also just like, I'll give me fucking everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? And ask a lot of questions and also ask why. I learned about, going into it, Joe's angles on like who was important to him as tattooers and all that was his angles. And I learned so fucking much from Joe Johns working at Wizards World. But Grez really gave me a real education on like, my context on Ed Hardy was like not really there. And they were like, fuck, they were talking about Ed Hardy in this big way. And I was just like, and I felt so small and like ignorant, because it was. Like I was ignorant. I shouldn't say small, but like I was like ignorant. I was just like, and I just remember getting comfortable enough with Grez, and he was so gracious. And I was just like, hey, can you tell me why? I'm like, I'm not seeing this. Same thing, Dan Higgs, Greg Irons. I was just like, I'm like, just give me, and then I just got some context and I'm like seeing it in different eyes. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And then just like, and then my taste started attaching to the stuff more. I'm like, oh, I see it now. And it was like a whole other world opened up. So, you know, humble yourself in every way that you can, because so much gold comes out of that.
It also behooves you to be in a room that puts pressure on you.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
You want that.
I don't want to be the best guy in the room.
You want to know that everyone in that room is coming for you. Not in a bad way either. They're all like, you know, they're tattooing. Like, these guys here that work at Alley Cat,
yeah,
they're all tattooing, drawing for the next guy to see it. Like, they're all pushing one another in the same direction.
Yeah.
And expanding on what we did yesterday.
Right.
They're all, and if you have the opportunity to be in a room that puts pressure on you in that way, you will grow.
You can feel it too when you're in those rooms. You can feel it here too, because everyone's locked in. And everyone's locked in on the people.
Really,
everyone's coming in.
I mean,
and
with
out.
all due respect, nobody really paying attention to you today.
That's what I'm saying. It's great. I mean, not that
like they said hello to you.
Not
Nobody
that I thought it was going to be
I don't mean that anybody here was smug or rude.
No,
they're all respectful.
We're here
but
to do
they're
something.
doing a job, and they're doing it whether Weatherholz is here or not, or Mike Wilson or whoever's here.
That's what I mean.
They're doing that regardless. When you say locked in, that's why I said that, because I know exactly what you mean.
That's that. Yeah,
they're doing their jobs in a way that, like, if you do step in and look at what they're doing, they're comfortable with that.
Yeah, it's great. And
yeah,
that's palpable in a room, because we all know. And then you're in rooms where people like just don't care much about anything, and I mean that and quite literally, and they're just like, yeah, you know, okay, cool, whatever.
It's cool. It's cool to give a fuck about this thing.
It's cool to give a fuck.
It's cool to give a fuck.
There's so much hype on this, like, just do your own thing and like all that, which can be great if that's the last resort. But
if you're doing something,
yeah.
All right.
We just had the lights flicker. I'm like, is there a ghost present? Yes or no?
Let's go. Is this something or is it nothing that we were talking about earlier?
It's like the Seinfeld thing,
yeah, and the Letterman thing. It's like
right.
Maybe it's cool for you to be independent. You don't work with anybody, and you're the greatest. But are you doing something?
Yeah. If
there's great tattooers that work alone that are so far ahead of the curve that you couldn't catch them if you tried. You just had your front finished by one of those dudes.
Yeah.
You know, O'Donnell's a guy that doesn't need the room as much as the room needed him.
Right.
You know, same thing with Timothy. Like, there's guys like that. But overall, man, you need to be in a pressurized situation. Let me ask you this. I have an assumption, but I'll ask you, who were the folks that Joe was like, check for this guy, he's good?
It's funny. Philip Liu.
Oh, wow.
First and foremost, that was his thing. Because Joe has a real unique. Joe's like fantasy guy. Like, if anyone doesn't know, people don't really know this. Wizard's World of Tattoos was based off of, because he loved Lord of the Rings. Joe read all the books, and he just is, you know, it's called Wizard's World of Tattoos. Like, he's all about that shit. He's like, it's like I came up in like that, it's like a fantasy biker shop.
Yeah.
You know, it's like fucking cool as shit, you know? It's cool shit now, and I'll be honest, like, at the time, I was like, this is like late 90s, early 2000s, where I'm like, I'm into new school.
Did he have like the Merlin wood painting where he's holding the staff in his ring with the diamond?
Yes!
Come on, son! Come on, son!
He had that exact
one.
I'm
from the era.
Yes,
you know I'm from the era, son.
Wow, yeah, that was literally at the front door.
Yeah, no fucking doubt, bro.
He had a big, massive, like, life-size wooden wizard statue, which is awesome. Which is awesome to me now. And at the time, I'm like into fantasy. I was big into comic books and all that shit. But I was just like so into like new school tattooing.
Yeah.
That like I was like,
oh, me too.
I was too far ahead. I wasn't looking back, and I wasn't like told to look back as hard as I should say should have. It worked out fine, but
right.
You know, at the time, I was like the Flash. I did so much Cherry Creek, and I just did all that that.
That was the money maker.
Some of the Hardy stuff, and like you know all that, and
did y'all have a lot of tattoo brand?
The same. Tattoo brand. Oh yeah.
Tattoo brand and Cherry Creek, big.
Yeah, but
I would have assumed that Joe would have looked up to Jack Rudy.
Oh yeah, I guess I didn't really paint the full picture. So Jack Rudy for sure. Brian Everett. Yep.
Cap maybe.
Cap was, I actually should have probably put him at the top. Cap was like one of Joe's actually really good friends.
So man, if you guys
I got to spend
know,
time. I got to spend some time with Cap through Joe, which was really special.
Man,
Cap Somsky.
exceptional tattooing on a level that no one at the time could fuck with.
Yeah.
Like it didn't look the part either. You wouldn't expect that dude to be doing these incredibly delicate pinups that were so fucking thoughtfully tattooed.
Yeah.
Big love for Cap, rest his soul. But yeah, he was a Richmond convention guy who I would stand and just watch him tattoo for as long as I could. So yeah, I would say that like that's
totally shit. Bernie Luther,
Joe's crew, yeah.
Huge. Joe loved Bernie Luther's shit.
Bernie Luther stood me up for a podcast in Germany. Shouts to Bernie.
Also, just a real quick shout out to Andreas too, who puts on the Aachen convention. Him and I have had some, especially like I would say probably what was that, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, talking about just convention stuff and like the size of conventions and just like the tone of conventions at the time, which I think they were just really important conversations. I just want to like just say that publicly. I really appreciate our relationship and
incredibly important figure.
Yeah.
To tattooing as a whole.
He loves it so much. It's great.
I kind of always like want to put when I talk about people who love tattoos more than anybody else I know, Andreas, Mike Schweigert are the two guys that I'm always like, they know more and love it more than most all y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But man, Andreas has been incredibly kind to me, and he does so much for the game. It's hard to be king sometimes, man. He's that guy. He's like Europe's Ed. Like I don't know. I don't want to put that on him. That's not fair. But he's like just an incredibly important figure in all of tattooing. But it's not everyone here knows him. But man, he does so much for the game through books, through
his own personal art, through his shop.
His pursuit of the love, right?
Yeah.
Like him going, like he's at, that what some people might say are rival conventions. He's at those conventions, soaking them up and loving it and taking it in. He's in Japan quarterly. Something crazy. Who goes to Japan every quarter?
Yeah.
Andreas does. And then he puts out a book, and you're like, you should be grateful.
And then he's doing all these painting. He's constantly painting. And also, like, thoughtful. I like the...
If you have a question, he'll be straight up with you.
He's there for... Yeah, and I really like he's a good example of this, of a really a strong figure that, knows what he likes and, like, really love... And tattooing is a huge part of that, and just also, like, being a really sensitive, thoughtful person in a lot of the right ways, which is, I think, lost on a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't mean him specifically, but I'm like, I appreciate that he puts that out as well.
Me too.
That to me is equally as important. So again, yeah.
He is so nice to me in so many ways. I can't overstate it. So he invited me to Germany. My brother and I go to Germany. We found out less than a year prior to that my mom had a brother in Germany that she didn't know about. Yeah.
Crazy. Okay.
I've told the story a bunch, so I'll give you the cliff notes. My mom's dad, my grandpa, was an Italian guy, and he was a wild character. And he had my mom, he had my grandma, and my mom and my aunt in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy. He had this Irish lady in Hell's Kitchen and the Sun, and he had over in Queens, he had this German woman who worked in LaGuardia. And she was young.
This morning.
Yeah, and she was young, and he got her pregnant. She had a baby, a little boy named Marco Schmidt. Could you be more Italian German than that?
Wow.
So
50-50 right there.
And so Grandpa's juggling 3 households, and it's a lot of pressure. He gets shot in the neck. It doesn't kill him, but it's in the newspaper. And so he has this police officer take the article to the German woman and says, my grandpa's name was Clemente. Clemente's been killed. Sorry. So he fakes his death. And she takes little baby Marco back to Germany.
Wow.
60 years pass, and he does 23andMe, and gets a hit on my mom's cousin, and they're talking, and he's like, what a shame my father was shot and killed. He's like, what are you talking about? Your father ran a Avis car rental in Tampa, Florida till he was 73 years old. He was shot and killed. And so then he reaches out to my mom and my aunt. They do the 23andMe thing. They get hits, a whole 9 yards. This is 99.99%. Yeah. He looks like my mom. It's crazy. So my brother and I go to Germany a couple days early, meet him. First he flies to here and comes to the little mountain town I grew up in, Clifton Forge, and hangs out with us for 4 days or whatever. And then I tell him, we're going to come see you in the fall. That was in June. I said, we'll come see you in the fall. My friend Andreas has got this thing going on. So we go see him for a couple days. Andreas puts me on stage with Hanky Panky doing a live podcast in front of an audience. He's like, this you're going to be great at this. So we get up on stage, me and Hanky Panky, and we're sitting on Andreas' mom's couch. He fucking had somebody bring his mom's couch over so we have a place to sit. And and Hanky Panky starts talking about how Americans don't know shit, and about Americans, I go, what did your daddy do for a living, or something like that to Hanky Panky. And he was like, he was a butcher. His father was a butcher, but you Americans know nothing about that. And I was like, whoa, hold up, fella. I said, I've butchered a lot of fucking deer in my life, and I've raised chickens and this, that, and the third, and I start telling him what a mountain man I am, what I mean? Yeah. And so we're kind of like sparring almost for the first like 20 minutes, me and him, He's like trying to tell me about us Americans. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, take it easy, but I know my way around. I know guns, I know knives, motherfucker. I know this, that, and the third. Yeah. It was great. And so the whole time, bro, I realized that Mick and his wife are front row looking at my face the whole time. I mean, they're fucking as close as I am to that fucking wall right there. Yeah. And afterwards, I'm like, yo. And it was a surreal experience. I had a couple, people asked me for photographs and stuff, and like, we're No Lies Just Bullshit fans. It was kind of wild. Yeah. And then the next day we're outside, and I was like, yo, Andreas, you didn't tell me fucking Mick was gonna be there. Like, that's wild, Yeah. That's who I should say is Europe's Ed. No offense to Andreas, obviously, but Mick's a wild character, Andreas goes, come with me. And he walks over to this group of people and introduces me to Mick. Yeah. And Mick's like, it's perfect English. I've been wanting to meet you. I love what you do. Mick. Yeah. To me. Yeah. I was just like, what? Awesome. And I was like, well, sorry, but I got to ask. He's like, sure, I'll do it, And then he got food poisoning and we didn't do it. So one day over there, Bernie Luther stands me up. The next morning, I was going to meet Mick, and he's got food poisoning and left. I think I got two podcasts in Germany at that show when I could have got. And I left the party early so I wouldn't be hungover because Mick wanted to do it at like 8:30 in the morning. All right. And then I saw Hanky Panky and Mick's wife, and they're like, oh, he's not feeling well. He's really sick. He got food poisoning. I'm like, fuck. Anyway, Andreas put me in a lot of places for a come up, and he's just been incredibly nice. Good. Yeah. It's great. What else going on? Do you want to talk about the band at all? We can talk about the band. I'm in, so this has been my last 2.5 years. I've been doing a band with Henbo, who owns Good Luck, with Kiku. Been 2.5 years? I didn't know that. Yeah, no one knows about it. We've been quiet. Just practicing. Writing music. You played any gigs? We're playing on April 24th in Brooklyn, New York. Sold out, motherfucker. It's sold out, bro. Yeah, I'll give the cliff notes on this too. So, Hembo and I become very good friends. I've known him for a bunch of years, but him and I become really tight kind of like over at the beginning of the pandemic. So like in 2020, and right around that time, I have my friend Vinny, who's a musician that I know from Long Island. I'm like, hey, I'd love to get into practice space because I've been playing drums my whole life. I haven't been able to like play drums and play music at all or to do any vocal stuff. And so I get in the space and we're hanging out a bunch. And him and my buddy Chris, who's also the drummer in the band,
they're all Liverpool fans, and I'm with Hembo, and all the time I'm like, oh, this fucking guy's Liverpool.
Are you?
I'm like, let me put. I am a adjacent Liverpool fan because all my good friends.
But you don't give a fuck about the game.
No.
I just want to
Yeah. I never. My sister played soccer in high school. That's the last time I cared. So
you had to go.
yeah, exactly. So shout out to Shelby. Happy 40th birthday.
Big up Shelby. I've met you at Pagoda. You've always been sweet.
Yeah, she's the best. But so, anyways, I hooked them up. They were like watching soccer, and Hembo's used to be in bands when he was still living in the UK, and. He's like, I got these songs, and Vinny is awesome. Vinny's been in a bunch of like well-known bands, or is in a bunch of well-known bands. Like he's sings for the band Movie Life and I'm the Avalanche, and has a solo career as well. And they started working on these songs together that Hembo's written. And my buddy Jim Carroll's in the band. He plays in a bunch of everyone's in kind of like hardcore kind of world, but none of these songs are hardcore. It's like it's rock and roll music, like. With like influenced by like Britpop and like Ramones and shit like that. Yeah, it's really really melodic, really fun. It's fucking awesome. And
you're playing drums.
I'm playing bass in this band.
Playing bass in this band.
Yeah, because my buddy Chris is a phenomenal drummer, and he.
Were you a bass player, or did you go? I want to be in this band.
Music, I will say
this.
I've been playing drums since I'm 10 years old. I've either sing and play drums in bands. And
you know what I love about you? You've been in New York for so long that you say since I'm 10 years old. That's not a Pennsylvania thing.
What do you mean?
That's a Long Island thing.
How so?
Because someone in Pennsylvania would say, I've been playing drums since I was 10.
Oh, true.
But...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But someone from Long Island says, I've played drums since I'm 10 years old.
10 years old, yeah.
That's an Italian...
it kind of is.
That's an Italian phrasing. That's an Italian-American way of talking. And you did it earlier today, and I was like... Well, that's funny.
I catch myself.
It's like 3 times you've done it, so I had to point it out. I love it. No, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I love that you're an island guy for a long time.
Hey, I've been called an honorary Long Islander, and it's by the right people. So I'll take it all day long.
Since I'm 10 years old.
There you go.
That's
all
what
right.
they say. That's how Steve-O talks. That's how fucking Rubendorf talks. That's how AJ talks.
Perfect.
So shout out to those guys.
All right, hell yeah, I'll take it. But all these guys are in all these other bands, and they're like kind of like well-known bands. So it's like. But everyone's like, oh yeah, we should. These songs are great. Let's fucking do this band. We like have practices. We have 7 songs.
Did you play bass prior? Or did you go?
No.
I want to learn to play bass to be in this band because I have a friend who did that one time and it worked out great for all of us. And I just really respect it.
I will say that I'm, my dad's a musician. I grew up around a lot of instruments, so for me to pick up stuff, it kind of comes with a certain level of comfortability.
Right.
But. That being said, I'm playing with all these fucking murderers.
And Hembo's singing?
Hembo's singing, and he's a fucking natural.
I bet he's a fucking front man like a motherfucker, bro.
Yeah, this is a band of front guys. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of like charisma. It's great. We have some cool, exciting things coming. So, and it's great because like, music has been such a huge part of my identity my entire life, and like what I'm about, and like. It's nice to have it back in the fold in a way that's like active. Yeah, because I've been, my whole life I've been playing in bands, and anyways. But that's been a nice. That's like a new thing that I'm.
So do you want to say the name of the band and where your guys are playing on 24th?
Jesus Christ, yeah, it's called Night Sports, NITE. That's the spelling, Night Sports. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's @NightSportsNYC.
Is there any snippets or anything on there?
Yeah, there's a.
Okay.
By the time this comes out, we'll have shit on streaming and all that. Yeah, it's great. It's like
I love it.
Best song that you'll hear this year. So far, there's one song. We have this song called "The Wire." That's the first song we're putting out, and it's fucking cool.
Hell yeah,
it's catchy as shit.
I love it. I love
so fun.
Tattooer bands. I know you're not all tattooers, but
it's me and Hembo. But yeah, it's
good. Hembo, but yeah, like. I love. What was that? What was Brady Duncan's band's name?
Oh, Weed Eater? No.
Something Jesus something. Or,
yeah.
Jesus Eater or
Jesus Eater.
Jesus Eater.
Jesus Eater. That's it. I said Weed Eater. You said Jesus. We got there. Okay, great.
Tattooers, old heavy hands guys.
Fucking Bagger Boys.
Yeah.
Sebastian. Yeah.
I love it.
Let's not forget Limp Bizkit.
Well, Swed Durst.
There you go.
Because Jeremy Sweat went on tour with those guys.
Yeah.
Like, did all those
about
tattoos. Terrible shit. Yeah. There's an episode, an early episode, bro.
Dan Smith, too? He's known.
Oh, yeah. There's others, too. Anyway, but there's an early episode of No Lies, Just Bullshit. It's funny, man. It's not been talked about that much, but it's just as available as any of them.
Yeah.
Of Brian Bruno prompting Jeremy Sweat to tell Limp Bizkit tour stories. And it's weird. It's a weird thing.
Interesting.
It's a weird one. Because, Bruno's like super good friends with me and super good friends with Sweat. It just started. Like, I don't even know if Bruno had an episode yet.
What's the first year?
That No Lies started?
Yeah.
16, I think.
Shit, you're creeping on 10.
16 or 17, something like that, yeah.
Damn.
And so he's like trying to get Sweat to help me out, but he's like, I'll do it with you. Like, there's been times where like Mike Dorsey didn't really want to do it, and Bruno's like, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I'll come with you.
Yeah.
And so, man, I'm heartbroken over Brian not being here, dog. I don't want to go into it too far, but I'm just heartbroken. He's the best dude. I don't know if y'all had a friendship or not, but
We did, yeah. Not super tight, but like yeah.
it's my guy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just Sweat, like, telling these terrible backstage Limp Bizkit stories. It's awesome, bro. It's fucking awesome. Shouts to Sweat.
great.
He's a slept-on tattooer. Jeremy Sweat's
For sure.
good.
He's a ripper.
He's so fucking good.
Super good.
Night Sports. Tell me about the name. When you showed me the flyer, I'm looking at the three names, and I'm going, which band is it? Because I was like, it's not Night Sports.
It's the first band. It's the band at the top, dude.
Yeah, no. I know now. Hey, I stand corrected.
No, it's good. The band came out of Henbo getting tattooed by. Actually, I think if I should tell this story.
Well, you don't have to. You can tell it and then check with your guys, or you can just keep it. It's okay. I never put pressure on anybody. Like, there's been a bunch of wild shit said on here. I'm never like the pusher.
Yeah.
I never try to get like, if you want to, I will not stop you or slow you down. But I'm not going to push anybody.
I'll keep it all vague enough. So Henbo is getting tattooed, and this person said,
Yeah.
"Hey, does so and so play soccer with you?" These are all tattooers, which is I'm just leaving everyone out of it.
Sure.
And Henbo goes, "No, he doesn't play soccer." And he goes, "Yeah, he doesn't play soccer. He likes women, drugs, booze, and night sports." And Henbo was like, and our band has an epic saga about like trying to fucking pick a name.
Sure.
And he was like,
Night Sports is pretty good in that context.
And the context were, and he's like, he like texted the band thread immediately. He's like, "Yo," and he's like says it's like fucking Night Sports. And we're just like,
well,
yeah, that's pretty good.
I don't know who said that, but I never heard that. But when you showed me the flyer and then said we're called Night Sports, I was like, Night Moves. Immediately went to the
Seeger,
Night Moves.
Oh yeah.
Which is,
Okay, I'll take that association too. It's
absolutely,
great.
yeah. But we all know what Night Moves are. I'm assuming
It's all the same shit. It's all the same shit. Yeah. Whereas like, it's just a cool name. Like it's like choosing a name's a fucking nightmare. It's like it's such a nightmare.
So was Pagoda tough, or did it?
Oh, but that's a good. Okay, so Pagoda City. Man, there was someone years ago I just saw like. We wanted to name the convention, like, not naming around, like, the town so specifically, like, Reading, whatever,
sure.
Or we wanted to have some sort of local association, but we didn't know what, and I remember...
don't want to be a throwaway.
Yeah.
Like, I think Reading's a throwaway.
Yeah.
Reading,
and people would say reading...
Right.
Because people fuck that up all the time because it's spelled the same. But I was like, the pagoda that is on the side of Mount Penn is like an icon of the area, and everyone knows that if you're from there, like the pagoda is the thing.
But how's all this
Pagoda City? I just kind of said like, what do you think about Pagoda City? I heard like I've never seen anything called Pagoda City, but I was just like, someone.
But the shape of the building lends itself to a flyer that's tattooing. Because of the Japanese aesthetic,
and it is literally about it's iconic for the area, and we said it, and we were both just like, oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's a great fucking name.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's a great fucking name. The one year that we were coming up there, and Andrew did shirts that were specific to the convention, and they had a lantern with the pagoda top on the lantern. Sick. And all that shit.
Yeah,
man, fucking, it's just cool. It lends itself well to merch, which is always a smart move.
Yeah.
Also, like, It's Pagoda now. I know it's Pagoda City, but everyone
says Pagoda. Yeah, it's great.
You know, Alley Cat Tattoo is Alley Cat Tattoo because it starts with an A.
Yeah.
That was the game.
Oh, yeah.
That was,
first the phone book?
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
There's no phone books anymore, but at the time, that was the thing, right?
Yeah.
And so, if you got into the business in the 90s, you know that. It's also, frankly, you know, Joe went the complete opposite with Wizards World, but I'll put money on it that he got at least a half-page ad in the Yellow Pages.
Oh, he did all that shit. For sure.
To counter the fact that he might not be the first in the phone book, but when it comes to the tattoo page, you have he probably did a whole page, but maybe I ask him how big of a Yellow Page ad he did, because I guarantee he was trying to counter whatever the A names were.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
Yeah, sure.
Because that was
I haven't
part
thought
of
about that in a long time.
That was part of the marketing strategy at the time I got in.
Sure.
So Alley Cat is that because of that, but No Lies Just Bullshit it's really I don't want to say a household name, but everybody knows it.
Yeah.
And calls it that. I think a lot of people call it No Lies, and I didn't know until like about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Everyone shortens everything. So no Lies is the thing, for sure.
A lot of Southern tattooers call me Nick No Lies. I did not know that until Angelo told me.
That's a good moniker.
Have you heard that before?
I haven't.
Angelo told me that everybody down south calls me Nick No Lies, which is fine. But No Lies Just Bullshit.
Better than Nick Lies.
Exactly. But the name No Lies Just Bullshit, which in the beginning was a hard pill to swallow, it's just long. It's No Lies Just Bullshit. What? Why? But my wife, I really wanted something like related to music or to something that I was like really, really had an affinity for, and I'm a huge Blues Brothers guy, and my son's name is Jake Elwood Blues. I love the Blues Brothers, and I came up on all that music. Not just the Blues Brothers music, but everything that was affiliated with it. And when Jake gets out of jail, I know you know the movie. When Jake gets out of jail, he says, "When's band practice?" And he was like, "The band broke up a long time ago." "What are you talking about?" Elwood says to him, and he goes, "You've been lying to me this whole time?" It's like, "No, it's not lies, it's just bullshit." It's like, what am I going to do? Break your heart? It's not lies, it's just bullshit. So my wife's like, "You should call it No Lies, Just Bullshit." And I was just like, "You're a fucking genius."
There you go.
But everybody I told in the beginning was like, "What?" Where now it's like a really...
Hey man, you know what it is? It's just like it's what we were talking about earlier. It's vision over visibility, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you got to know what your shit is. You got to know what the path is, or on some level. And after that, everyone just. I was Nick and I were saying earlier. We were talking. Just talking about vision over. We're talking about a lot of shit, honestly. But I heard an interview with Noel Gallagher, and he goes, "You can't ask the audience shit." I'm paraphrasing this, but he's like, "You can't ask the audience shit. They don't know anything." He's like, the world didn't know about Jimi Hendrix, but they got Jimi Hendrix.
Right.
And Jimi Hendrix didn't need to sell himself. He was like, "Here's the deal," and I'm like working. He worked his whole life to be who he is, and just showed up and was like, this is what you get. And no one knew that they deserved it, whether they did or not, but they got it. And it's the same thing where you're just like, here's how I'm doing it, and that's what's up. Same thing with Pagoda. Like, same thing. Anyone that does a convention, like whoever puts something on, whether it's a convention, a fucking band, whether it's whatever the creative endeavor that you put on, that shit has your fucking fingerprint on it. It has your everything you like. It has your aesthetic. It has your likes, your dislikes. All of it's attached to it, and it becomes your fingerprint. It becomes your everything about. It says about who you are.
And often people don't know that they wanted it until you presented it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you're timid about it, and you try to present it in a palatable way, people might be like, "That's corny." That's why.
Yeah, you're censoring yourself, and then you are pandering. There's an element of pandering, and people sniff that out. People sniff that out in a fucking heartbeat.
Like you said, if you say, "Well, this is the vision, uncompromised. This is what I'm presenting,"
right?
Then they can take it or leave it. But if the follow through has already happened in your mind, they want it.
And if you like it,
That's enough.
If you like it, that is enough. That's it.
enough.
That's it,
Yeah.
and you can go for it from there. And sometimes, this is another fun like element of Pagoda City, where it's just like we wanted to do the show originally in like a spring or fall, because it was about like coming out of the summer and like being like a fall show, or like being in the spring and being like tax return season or whatever. But initially, years ago, the hotel was like, "Oh, you're not fucking with our wedding seasons. Fuck you." They were like, "We have this dead." They literally said to us, "We have this dead weekend in August. You can have they were like throwing us their trash." 2 years later, we're their biggest fucking thing.
But you also realize,
It was like lemon and lemonade type shit, and we were just like, we can make this work because it's like outdoors too. We can like it's a summer show, so it's like we can do that, and.
I love the spot that you have, and I love, but the old place, with the doors open and fucking Zach shirtless playing ping pong. It had a thing. It was a thing too.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a thing
for sure.
too.
Well, that was the thing with this new one. We're like, we need to make sure the outdoor thing can happen, and there wasn't facilities. So I'm like, well, we'll make it. So like, we rent the big tent situation, the stage, and all that shit. So.
But when you told me the gallery thing, I told you the Rick Rubin thing. It's like the best thing you can do for the audience is ignore it.
Right.
And there's also like I saw this. The Rick Rubin thing, and I shared it, and then one of my buddies was like, but he was like, artistic endeavors succeed the moment you put them out.
Right.
And a lot of, and I had one person in particular, I had multiple people hit me up about that angle, but one person hit me up and was like, man, I need to hear that. And another person hit me up who was a friend of mine was like, you know what I mean? But it's subjective.
I wonder what their angle is though
Well, there's
how can I don't know.
There's I'm assuming their angle is there's the shitty expressions of things. There's less than good versions of things. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a big G.G. Allen guy. Like that expression is not my favorite.
Yeah.
But some people that's their fucking cup of tea. People love that motherfucker, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a big diarrhea fan, that's your guy.
I'm not. I'm always thinking about like the
I
things
try my
that
hardest not to be the diarrhea guy.
the things that people tolerated from certain people expressing themselves. I'm like, man, not me, dog.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have caught me there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, there's, but
I'm more. I think you and I are more on the same page with the vision is the follow through. The audience will catch up. If I know what I'm doing and I present it in the way that I imagined it, and I know that that's dope,
yeah,
the audience that agrees that it's dope will find it.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to convert people who like something else.
And you have to, and if you're doing something publicly, like putting on an event is public.
Yeah.
Opening a shop is public.
Yeah.
Putting music out is public.
Yeah. Podcast.
A podcast. It's all public. So because you can do it and keep it private, and then if that's your prerogative, that's up to you. But it's one of those things where it's like, here's what we do, and then you like keep the door open. It's not like, here's what we do, fuck you.
Right.
It's like you can do that, but you're like, it's counterintuitive.
When someone tells you to change it, you can say fuck you.
Yeah, or if someone has like, well, why am I not at this show? Why is blah blah blah? It's just like, just be a part of it first, because like, it's like being a part of something and being like, this particular terminology might not apply particularly 100% of the time to what we're saying, but like being of service to something.
Yeah.
If like, oh, I like this thing. It's like, oh, let me like just be around. Let me just see what this is about. And you just like observe, be inside of it, maybe show up to it, listen to it, and just kind of like take a fucking beat and take yourself out of the equation and just see what something is and like absorb it for what it is. And then if you're like, fuck this thing, then you think great. Then you're not wrong either then. It's like for you, it's like, yeah, it's not for you then.
Yeah, well, maybe you're hating also, and you can zoom out a little bit.
A lot of haters.
Like when you say take yourself out of the equation, that's a hard thing to do. Yeah.
And
it's a hard thing to do, but zooming out from it and trying to observe it from a broader view,
Sure.
might be a little easier to do, and say, well, okay, you said to a show. I'm sure that there's people like, why is that tattooer there and I'm not? And I'm sure there's people like, how come I don't have an episode of this? Sure. If we're just talking about the creative endeavors that you and I are into, not to say that these are the premium, or just because for argument's sake,
Right.
If they zoom out of that, like you said, and choose to participate, what if you went to Pagoda and you enjoyed the show and bumped into you and said, dope show, Justin.
Yeah.
Man, if ever the opportunity, I'd love to get in. I know there's people that got booths that did it that way.
Yeah.
There's people who never listened to NLJBS bullshit and said, I want a fucking episode. And there's people who shared it a ton and said, yo, that's ill. And then they're on the episode. They're on an episode one day.
Sure.
So like you can participate, like you said, and then maybe it'll come to you.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, where it's just like there's a lot of ways in, and there's a lot of there's also just so much fucking noise, and there is to have a lot of people being like, I want to do it. It's like, okay, cool. It's like you can't keep track of everyone all the time, and it's not our responsibility, honestly, too.
No.
It's like it's like an impossibility.
There's also like the people that are in it are when I say I mean like if we're talking about your show and my show, two different kinds of shows, but like there's people that are our friends that you want there, and then there's people that are adjacent to them that want to be there, that then have a leg up because they're your friends' friends,
Right.
and then there's people that you don't even know, but you'd like to have them because they're great and you admire their work. There's just different, and so those people get priority over the people who are like fussy about it. What's up, Pete?
For sure.
Not much.
Look who it is.
What's up, man?
Come on in, man.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
We're just bullshitting, talking about how great we
Good to
are.
see you.
You too.
Very good to see you. I'm excited to see you.
Me too.
I'm excited you're
I
here.
mean, you're home. It's great to be here. Thanks for having
We're just bullshitting. You want to sit down?
Good to see you, boss. Yeah, actually, I'm glad you're here.
Want a drink?
Gotcha.
Oh,
me. You look thirsty.
I'm very thirsty.
where's the cup, Pete?
Come on right here.
Okay, word.
I just
There's
got.
ice. Want me to get you a Coke?
No, I'm good, man. I'm just gonna have one on the rocks, and then I gotta go home and eat. I'm tired.
Well, I got to piss, so talk to Justin for a minute.
Where? Okay. This isn't awkward.
What's the wise?
No, I'm good.
Oh, like you haven't done this
Unless
a
you wanna get
million
some-
times. You got the experience on your side.
How you doing, man?
Great. It's great to be here. I woke up. I had woke up at 6 a.m. this morning.
I'm sorry.
I went to bed early. It was fine. I'm an early riser. I don't mind it. Yeah, got on the flight this morning. It was very chill.
Oh, you flew down today.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
It's a quick hit. It was like one of those things where I'm like, I really wanted to make the time to get here. I tattooed a little bit today. Tattooed Jake.
I saw it. He
to the
sent me a
fun.
picture. He's very excited.
It was a fun. A lot of pressure. It's like he does all those. He's got that beautiful back piece, and all those like fillers. And I was like, oh man, all right, gotta like get clever with this one. So it was fun. It was great.
He sent me a picture, and all I put was crack sniffing.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, she's sniffing
Right down there.
I did for all the listeners. I did. Jake's he's got a back piece from Andrew, and he's getting
full body dragon, no background.
Yeah, no background. So he's getting all the background filled in with all these like pinup heads, and he's got Mike Wilson in there, and
I think Juan Tejar.
all these gorgeous he's filling it all in with like lady heads, and, like pinup heads. So I did like a profile one at the bottom, and she's looking right down at that crack and taking a sniff.
It's a beautiful tattoo, and he was like,
Thanks.
like we always we'll send each other stuff like regularly, but I'm sure you know.
Cheers, my friend.
Welcome to Alley Cat.
Thank you.
for coming.
It's great to be here.
I'm sure you know, like your level of stokedness is level of your friend's stokedness with their new tattoo is directly related to how quickly they send you the text.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, I don't think his feet hit the floor before he
Hell
texted
yeah.
me.
That's great. Well,
I told Justin the first thing I texted him back was crack sniffing.
But yeah, he was like at the copy earlier. He was like, none of the girls I got already are side profile. He said, no.
Oh, really?
I looked at that. I was just like, I was like, you know, I mean, that's actually the first. No, actually, the second. I got two pinups from Chris Kahn. My second one, I was like, I kind of want a profile. You don't do those a lot. And and so I got that, and I got one from Adam Warmerdam too. And I was just like, I wanted to have a strong nose.
Oh yeah.
This?
Yeah.
Oh, this. Yeah. I don't know why I was second guessing.
Yeah, it's good.
Pete, fresh off a trip, everything go your way?
Yeah, it went really good. I'm exhausted. I got to do a really fun.
Oh, did you do the Hudson Valley?
No.
Oh,
No, he did Absolute Art and Tantrum.
You're doing a guest spot.
Yeah, I went. I caught a dude drove down. He was with his family, but part of his birthday weekend was coming to Richmond from Annapolis so he could see a show and get tattooed by him and see Absolute. It was really cool. Like when he left, I showed him around the shop, which is just 2 levels real fast.
Yeah.
But he got to see Brian's Station. He turned to me on it. Was way out.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware, but Brian's Station is like a museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's you want to go in there and start like looking at all the tricks and stuff.
Flipping the paper and shit.
And then I tattooed a regular of mine there, and then I went to Tantrum this morning, and I got to tattoo Jillian's husband.
Yeah.
How long is the drive from Absolute to here?
2 hours.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like door to door, and it's the simplest drive.
Yeah,
It's super
straight
easy.
ahead. Cool.
Yeah, like they're like Absolute's even their second location is even closer, even easier to access from the interstate.
Awesome.
But yeah, it was great. I spent the night at Timothy's, and I was really excited to work. Like he was gonna draw. He always was like, "I'm working late. You want to work?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so I thought he said that he was starting at 10:30. It was like 9 o'clock when he said this to me. I was like, "Okay, cool. 10:30, hour and a half. Like that's fine." Like he was gonna go hang with his wife, and then we were gonna go to his studio. And as 10:30 came and went, I went, "Oh, he said 12:30 because it's Timothy."
Right.
And, he gets up at the butt ass crack of 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah, like his website's 3 hours past midnight is his website.
That's right. That's
So when
right.
he finally texted me at like midnight, I was zonked out because my alarm clock gets up at 6 o'clock and has no snooze button and turns the TV in the living room on really fucking loud.
Fair.
Until I come out.
Yeah. We were talking earlier. I was kind of reminiscing a little bit. Like it's been probably about 8 years or so, but about Timothy living in Brooklyn. I got tattooed.
He visited.
I got tattooed there. I remember me, Zach Scheinbaum, and Frankie did a paint night one night. Yeah, this house. He would like, yeah, just come over and like hang out, and it was great. I remember it was 123 Russell Street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It was easy. It was easy to remember. Yeah,
his spot now is it's not a walk up, but his spot now has the has the one side that's rounded like his old spot.
Oh yeah, the bay windows,
exactly like
or like the.
I guess like Victorian or bay.
Yeah.
But it looks like the first thing I said was, "Dude, this looks like your place in Greenpoint." And he was like, "Yeah, that's what Dorian and I really grabbed it." He told me that place, it was so hard to leave that they had their shit packed and were in the car and were like, "Should we really do this?"
Yeah, they had a sweet deal. I was telling him I almost took that apartment.
Oh, I remember him saying something about that.
He's like, and I was like, we talked about it, and then he put me in contact with his landlords, and they were like, they raised it like I think $800,000 or something like that, which now
would be cheap. Not cheap.
Yeah, well, in hindsight,
reasonable.
you're like, well, I could do it, and I was, And before that, there was that the graffiti guy Dalek, Dalek. I remember he was like in Juxtaposed magazine all the time. So I'm like, oh, this is like a legacy apartment of artists. I'm like, I want in.
Sure.
I'm like, this place has the fucking juice.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I was like, and it's like right on the park. It's like,
that park was so cool.
yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah, Steve, my man Steve, I was like, yeah, you're waiting on Timothy. You go sit on the bench, you see a squirrel.
Nature. He goes, I want
Your Brooklyn nature, yeah.
Then you see a squirrel.
Squirrel comes out with a 2-pack-a-day habit. He's fucked up on fentanyl.
Exactly.
Got his lean on. He goes, see, nature.
Yeah, Steve was like, it's a squirrel.
I did a squirrel.
And squirrel. It's a squirrel, and we're lucky to have him here. There's trees here.
I mean, to be fair, Timothy did tattoo some Brooklyn nature on me. He did a rat on my leg, so that's good. I was like, I want a dirty NYC rat.
Yeah,
got like green weird mist on it. And shit, it's awesome.
Man, how crazy was that? 8 years ago or 10 years ago, however long it was, he wasn't as visible as he is now. Like, how ill was it for you guys to go do a paint night with him? He tattooed you, and you were just like, do you ever...
I knew him at that point.
Yeah.
I bought a few.
He's a go.
Bought
He's a go.
from
He's
him.
a
And he come
different guy.
by Kings Ave a little bit, and I'd see him in he'd come to St. Vitus for see bands and shit. So we'd cross paths relatively often. Yeah. But yeah,
him talking about St. Vitus, he would light up. In St. Vitus, you ever heard about that? And Sarah, who works here, knows
the best.
about it. He was like, it's like a couple blocks over. It's great.
Yeah.
I can eat dinner with Doreen and then go watch it, some crazy black metal, crazy shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
ICP.
Yeah.
Some black metal band.
Did I ever tell you the first time? So the first time I went to get tattooed by him in New York, he was at Brooklyn Adorned, and when I went to stay with Steve-O, and he had an apartment in Brooklyn, and they had some Brooklyn-based periodical just sitting on a counter, and I started flipping through it out of boredom, and there was a whole article on juggalos and what juggalos were, and that they existed primarily outside everywhere in the world except for New York City. So you were never going to come across an ICP fan or a juggalo in New York City, but it was, I get it. It's bait.
Porter coming in hot.
Dude, it was hilarious. It was all fabricated bullshit. And it was a real period. I was like, Steve, is this real? He goes, I know what a fucking juggalo is, and that's not it, but that's what they think a real juggalo is.
Yeah.
And it was fucking hilarious. It was...
I did
amazing.
I remember right before I left Pennsylvania to go work in New York, I did ICP was really popping off, and I did a lot of juggalo tattoos.
Yeah.
A lot of Hatchet Man.
Yeah.
I remember there was a dude right before I left. I know I wasn't quite as comfortable doing the black and gray shit, and he asked me to do portraits of the two guys on his neck. And in hindsight, I wish I did it because I'm like, what would they look like now? But also in hindsight,
did he want full portraits or just their paint?
The heads?
But just their paint?
No, he wanted portrait of them going.
Because a lot of people get just because the two dudes have two different paint patterns that they wear.
Yeah,
so a lot of people on their hands will be
just the
Violent J and Shaggy Two Dope, just their paint.
Oh, you know their names?
My brother, he told me about it back in the day. So I was like, this motherfucker's wild.
I had a weirdo neighbor kid that they were all about it, and I was just
Am I a weirdo neighbor kid?
No, but doesn't your neighbor lady kid didn't he have a juggalo tattoo?
Mm-mm. No, those kids were straight.
Anyway. Okay.
I definitely borrowed the CD from them, and I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. It was just, there was no context of anything like it before, so I was just like, I don't know, this is. It wasn't good or bad. It was just whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah.
That was it.
Something.
It was is this something?
Something.
Is this something?
Cool. You all knew I knew he knew where I was going.
He and I spent 30 minutes
talking about it.
Because I had the Seinfeld book in my room, and it says, "Is this something?" It's called "Is this something?"
Oh, okay.
But I told him about the Letterman.
The Letterman, yeah. Is this something?
It's great.
Oh, I hit I walked in, my customer yesterday wanted to go get coffee, and the Dunkin' Donuts, apparently from across from Absolute, looks like it's just not in great shape. And he was like, is that place down there any good? And you could see a little coffee shop across Broad. And I turned around and went, yo, Sam, is this coffee shop down here in Count? And he went, huh? And Keith goes, yeah, Count. Is it any good?
Count? Actually, I don't know what you're talking about.
I think that's more of a country thing.
Yeah, it's
what are the words you're using? I actually don't.
I know those words, but I never heard
Is
them.
it count?
Yeah, count.
I don't use it.
Is
like
it
that,
count?
Though. You've always used it that way. I
Hold
don't
on.
use it that way.
Are you saying
I
is
say,
it count?
Is it
any count?
Any count? Does it matter?
Is it any count?
Doesn't
oh,
matter.
I've never heard that before in my life.
But I use
it
it.
wrong.
Well, no, you're not. But I use.
No, it's just regional.
I just use the other side of it to describe something that isn't good. Yeah. So I'll say Justin Weatherholz is a no count motherfucker. if you're terrible, I'll be like, this no count, sorry,
yeah,
motherfucker.
And then
That's how I use it.
And then you deserve the royalties.
So I don't usually use it like, is it any, but my pop would say, is it any count? I'd be like, they got gravy in there, and he'd be like, is it any count? Does it count? Does it matter?
Does it
is
count?
it worth it?
Got it.
That's where I got it from.
Yeah.
As your old man. Yeah.
But I'll always just describe something bad as no count.
That just made me think of moving when I moved to Long Island, and they said, saying, "Are you in line or no online?" And this was like internet,
Instead of
the internet, because if you're standing like in a queue, like it's like, "Are you online?"
Yeah.
Or they're
And
on,
you
or
think-
they were
I think
online,
I
or they would talk about stories like so and so was online and blah blah blah, and I think they're talking about doing something on the
You're
internet,
thinking about like,
and they were just like literally online
like
at
standing
the deli
Well, that's the same thing with on Long Island.
on Long Island. Yeah,
You're not in
it's
Long
like you're not in
Island.
it.
You're
Yeah,
in the city, but you're on Long Island.
exactly.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah, I get that.
He said, I understand his words. What do they mean? My wife and I have an ongoing joke about we're on a trip to the beach, and on the way back we were listening to this comedy thing, and this guy said, he was talking about his mom saying wild shit to him, and he said, my mom said to me one time, your sister called the border collie miscarried in the minivan. And it was like, that's a series of words. I know what they all mean, but I've never heard them together, and that's the wildest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And we have an ongoing joke about that. I had a customer say to me the other day, I have warts, I tried to freeze them off at the sperm tank.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I got it to the sperm tank.
She works at a vet's office. All right, you got to back that up and tell me what you mean. Sperm is kept in a freezed container with nitroglycerin,
Yeah.
and that's how they get, I don't know if it's nitroglycerin, but that's how they burn warts off.
Mm-hmm.
And you just saying that, like, that's something my wife and I talk about all the time. Like, is it a string of words we've heard,
Yeah.
but we don't know what they mean together?
Which also just made me think about, so growing up, all my relatives, like they would speak in Pennsylvania Dutch. So Pennsylvania Dutch means Pennsylvania German, Deutsch.
Right.
Pennsylvania Deutsch. So it's like they would, like
Anyway, your grandparents, aunts, and uncles.
my grandparents, my uncles, they would all speak in this very specific way. There's a lot of like things that they would say, and it hasn't ever come out in like popular culture. It's like really specific to our area. So, but it'd be like, they'd say out in the lights, O-U-T-T-E-N, out in the lights, so like turn the lights off.
Oh.
Out in,
okay.
out in the lights. It would be chew your mouth empty before you say, which means don't speak
Don't speak with
until
your mouth full.
don't speak with your mouth full.
Yeah.
Chew your mouth empty before you say. Throw your grandpa down the steps, his shirt.
Yo!
Oh, so this is like all this type of shit. We're like
my uncle and my grandmother speak like that.
Okay.
I didn't know that that's what that was.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
It's,
Pennsylvania.
it's Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Dutch.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that
Yeah.
that's what that was.
Out in the lights are great.
It's some like backwards
Well, you
ass
know,
German shit.
I love Seinfeld, obviously. I also love Steve Harvey. If you watch, Seinfeld's done the bit a handful of times, but on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, when he has Steve Harvey on there,
Oh yeah.
he's like, there's certain things that black people do that white people don't do. And he was like what? He's like, let up that window. He's like, oh, you got to let it up. Yeah, you
let it up,
Yeah,
yeah.
you let it up. Yeah, there was a handful. I can't remember them all, but that was the one that stood out the most.
That's a good one. That sounds kind of Pennsylvania Dutch, actually.
Yeah,
That's got the bones of.
So Jerry does
That
like
same
3
shit.
of them, and then he goes, and of course the big one is "fuck all y'all." He's like, this is like black people say, "fuck all y'all."
Yeah,
That
feels like it came from that.
something
That's
that
great.
my country ass family, the town I came up in is very country, but also very black, and I'm not gonna. Something that my family always said that I know black people say that because Bernie Mac on Kings of Comedy,
Yeah,
Bernie Mac's like he's the greatest. Bernie Mac's like
He came out on stage with a picture of himself on his jeans.
Yeah.
He's the greatest.
he's like I'm gonna kill you, and my fucking old man's family are gonna kill you. They'll be like, I'll kill you. They're like, they get mad. They'll tell you they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, they all do it. They all say, I'm going to kill you. Or, when I see that motherfucker, I'm going to kill that motherfucker. Like, black people do that a lot. He's like, but Bernie Mac goes, we ain't going to do nothing to you. We ain't going to do nothing to you. We might say, I'll blow this motherfucker up. We ain't going to do nothing to you. You know? But that's how my old man's family was. They're like, they call you a lie instead of a liar. If you say something that ain't true, they say, you a fucking lie. Instead of saying, that's a black people thing, but that my country-ass family says it too. You a fucking lie, is what they say. You a lie. But they will say...
So which ends up being regional.
Yeah.
Ends up being just regional.
They're like, I'm going to kill that motherfucker when I see him, Of course, but the best Bernie Mac bit on there is when he's talking about a motherfucker being a person. He's like, you seen that motherfucker, Bobby? That motherfucker owed me $35 motherfucking dollars. I called the motherfucking house. His mom act like he won't home. I started to cuss her motherfucking ass out, but I ain't want no motherfucking trouble. But when I see that motherfucker Bobby, he better give me my $35 motherfucking dollars. That's so good.
That just okay. So the very first time I had, I can't remember how I got it, but my very first stand-up tape that I ever had, I feel like my dad had it or something. It was Eddie Murphy, Delirious. Everyone says Raw.
No,
for me,
both of them are.
they're both classics.
They're both.
No, Delirious was
Delirious was my number one. It's the first time I remember having my Sony Walkman in my fucking ears in bed, trying to keep my voice down from laughing.
Yeah.
But my one that was mine, that I'm like, this is my guy, was Martin Lawrence, You So Crazy.
You So Crazy is like fucking classic. Them tight red shorts. Bro.
Dude, it's the best. Dude,
It's like
it is the best.
Water was
and
just
you have
glistening
to
all
watch
over your body. Yeah,
Dude, you have to watch it. You have to watch him do it. You can't listen to it.
No.
It's like his mannerisms and everything. He's like, it's so physical.
He was one of the illest comics alive. Like, pre Bad Boys, pre all that shit.
Yeah.
Pre Martin. Or I guess at the time of Martin.
What was...
No, Martin.
The show.
Oh, the show.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious about what
he was host of Def Comedy Jam,
That was
bro.
the one.
And he was a fucking animal, bro. When he hosted Def Comedy,
murdered.
see, my mom put me on to Richard Pryor, put me on to Eddie Murphy, put me on to Dice Clay.
Yeah.
Like, my mom loved comedy. Like, I was watching those Dice Clay bits, the fucking Little Boy Blue. Oh, he needed the money. Like,
so good.
when I was fucking 10, 12 years old, my mom was just like, you gotta see this. It's hilarious. Yeah, man. Fucking,
It's good shit.
it's way good shit. But Delirious and Raw, those were fucking classics.
Yeah.
The show Martin was amazing. But yeah, there's some fucking Def Comedy Jam clips.
Shanae.
Shanae was incredible. And Bro Man, the dude who would come in the window.
Oh my god, the window guy.
Yeah, bro.
Yes.
Bro,
I forgot about that. Wow.
Eddie Murphy talking about doing a talent show where he did Richard Pryor, and he was like, he was like, I was 15 years old. What had I done at age 15? All I'd ever done is taking a shit. So I went out there and Richard Pryor voice just talked about taking a shit.
Yeah.
That is like...
Well, when he
nosebleed
does
funny.
when he does the conversation, when he talks about Bill Cosby calling him up and telling him he can't cut.
I've seen no full Florence.
And then he says, so I'm talking to Richard, and Richard's like, you tell Bill to have a Coke and smile and shut the fuck up.
Did the people laugh? Yeah. Did you get paid? Yeah. Well, tell Bill I said have a Coke and smile, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
God damn, is that funny.
So good.
Bro, that fucking... do you know Theo Von? You like Theo?
I have a conflicted thing with Theo Von, but
Well,
I get why he's funny. I've laughed.
He's hilarious. When he had Cat Williams on, he's like, did you ever meet Bill Cosby? I guess because they're both black. It was fucking hilarious. He's like, no, I never met Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Was Cat like put off by the question? Like,
Not really. You can tell Cat like Theo. Cat brought up 3 or 4 times.
Cat probably wouldn't go on that show if he didn't have some sort of love for him. I would imagine he's too deep in like that
Well,
world.
there's this picture.
You know what I mean?
There's this
I'm
picture.
guessing. I don't know. I don't know these people.
I mean, I don't.
There's a picture
you know
of
more about
there's a
comedians,
picture of Theo high school basketball team, and it's him and 5 super dark skinned black dudes. Mm-hmm. And Cat brings it up over and over and over again on that show.
What's the?
Cat's like, your high school basketball team was the greatest team I've ever seen. And he's like, I never saw y'all play, but that was the greatest team I've ever seen.
That's great. Hell yeah.
And also, Theo had been on Rogan and they were talking about him, and Theo said something like, Cat Williams would be like, so Cat Williams was on Rogan, and then Theo was on Rogan, and Theo said something to the effect of, you got 30 pair of swimming trunks, Joe Rogan, and ain't never been in the ocean. And Cat clearly thought that was fucking hilarious, and he quoted that a couple times on their conversation too.
That's good. Cat's funny.
Cat's great, bro. It's Pimpin'. It's, a lot of people like the Pimp Chronicles, but he's got a fucking stand-up called It's Pimpin'. It's a fucking masterpiece, yeah. I love Cat Williams.
Snoop Dogg did a thing, I think, on Netflix, where he had comedians come on. It was the first time I'd seen Cat do anything new in a long time. Yeah. He came out, he addressed a 15-year-old punching him and all that stuff. And then it was before he
I don't even know about any of that.
You didn't know about that?
Yeah.
It's like cell phone footage of some little kid whipping cats out.
Oh, yeah. 15-year-old that is as big as me. Like, a grown man size.
Yeah.
And
Cat's a little fella.
Cat melts off to the wrong
seems tiny, yeah.
But Cat went on, first, and then there's some chick, and she didn't do as good as Cat. You could tell Cat was feeling good about it. And then this dude went up there. I gotta show this to you.
I've seen it. I know exactly.
It's when the dude that comes after, and he's walking with the microphone stand, he's talking about a stripper coming through, going, "You want a lap dance?" Oh my fucking god! I laughed so hard, and you could tell Cat was just like, just pissed, and he was so much funnier. Oh man!
Do you see comedy up there, man? Or do you?
Yeah.
Stick music.
No, I go to the Cellar once in a while.
That's cool. That's real comedy. That's like small.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it's the fucking best.
That's dope. Hell yeah.
Dude, me and I want to say the week after Pagoda City. So there we have a little bit of a yearly thing where Frankie will stay with me the week after Pagoda because I am like up here. My energy is like, some people are like wiped out by social stuff. So when I'm done with Pagoda, I'm like buzzing, and it takes me a couple days to come down. It's like
if I throw a party,
there's nothing.
I can't come down from it. It takes me a little while.
There's nothing like it. Yeah. It's a really.
If you're into it, like you and I are the same. Like we're social people.
Yes.
We want to do this. We want to deliver to everybody.
Yes.
All the things we want to be. Yeah.
Some people are drained by social interaction. They go out one night. They have like one experience, and they're just like, okay, I'm good for a couple days.
Not me.
Where I'm like, I'm charged up. I love to engage with people. I like all that. It's just different ways of being, right? And so doing Pagoda, people are like, so many people say to me like, oh, I bet you just want to just be in a hole by yourself. I'm like, that would be hell.
Yeah.
If I had to just go be in a room by myself, do you know what kind of hell that would be like? I'm like, no. And Frankie gets this about me, and he's the perfect him and like I would say Brian Paul, but Frankie really kind of makes himself available to me, where he stays with me a couple of days after Pagoda, kind of every year, and he just kind of hang, and there's no real direction. I'm just like, all right, we're just gonna go to lunch, and then all our boys in big shout out. I really this is important.
Super loud, sorry.
I was trying to grab it to muffle it.
Our friends from the Village Coffee in Utrecht.
World-renowned coffee purveyors.
Oh my God!
If you like meth, drink this coffee.
That's right.
Seriously, man, I can only have one cup the whole weekend.
All right.
It's so good.
You're also on 11.
It's so good.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those guys are always around. Last couple of years, they really I've become really good, really tight with all the Village guys, and they're fucking awesome. And I love it. And they always stay in Brooklyn afterwards, and sometimes before too. And they're floating around too. But it's nice for me to come down from that. I don't know. I'm off on a tangent a little bit here, but yeah.
You're doing comedy and Frankie and
that's what I was gonna say. So maybe in 2018 or 19, me, Frankie, and Herb Auerbach go to the Comedy Cellar.
Great tattooer. Shouts to Herb.
Yeah, Herb.
Yeah,
the fucking best.
Great tattooer.
him and Thad Ritchie have been doing the show for a lot of years. Fucking great. Yeah, Thad's awesome. Anyways, so we go, I'm like, let's just go to the Comedy Cellar. We went on like a fucking Tuesday or Wednesday after Pagoda. I was like, let's just go. We went. Mark Norman.
Oh, yeah.
First time I ever heard of this motherfucker. No, none of us heard of this guy. We go in there, and when you hear them talk about guys murdering, and he walks up, and you're just like, who's this little nerd?
I couldn't have said it better. He just looks like, and his nasally voice and stuff, you're like,
Oh, hey, all right. And just saying the most wild shit, and just like,
What's his name?
Mark Normand.
Mark Norman, he's
Him and
funny.
Sam Morril do one called We Might Be Drunk. It's
Sam Rose.
I love
which
this
you could
guy.
call this
Seller
podcast,
guy, big
maybe.
time. Yeah.
Weatherholz
been throwing down some sake.
That's right. I am almost polished off this
Yeah, I
entire
never
bottle.
say this to you, but every time I talk about you, I'm like, Weatherholz. Just like in the Frank voice.
I'll take it. Hell yeah.
Not weather.
Weatherholz.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Like Weatherholz coming through, yo.
Hell yeah.
So do you want to tell me why you don't like Theo, or you're not sure, or should we not?
Theo, I'm fine. I don't know. I'm fine talking about it. I don't care. It's
Like, some of the reasons I like him are probably the wrong reasons, but like, you know, I saw him one time be like, I don't say the N-word unless you do. And I thought that's fucking hilarious. It's just funny.
that's what he says. Yeah.
No, he said it once, and I thought it was real funny.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, because there's so much truth to people that are that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, this is you can get into like a whole like people talk about censorship. I find it so fucking boring. Everyone can say whatever the fuck you want,
Right.
And that's the same thing with him. It's like you can say whatever the fuck you want, and if someone gets mad at you, they're allowed to be
Like,
mad at you.
Yeah.
And if you want to stand on that, and that's that important to you, I guess that's great. That's part of my issue with him.
Right.
Some of that where it's just like, but it's also like I don't know. I'm allowed to be like annoyed by him sometimes, but sometimes he's funny. I don't listen to him
Sure.
actively, but I'm like, okay, cool, I get it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
also
you
like,
don't have to love him.
yeah, but there's some shit like
I also don't.
you know
like-
we're all on Instagram, so like sometimes you get these like short clips. And I'm
Yeah.
like, there's shit that's like, oh, that's fucking funny. Like
Right.
I see both sides of it, and you know, shit's complicated sometimes.
I think
It is. Yeah.
I think there's a bit of like
I'm not here to police anyone else but myself. Cheers.
yeah.
That's a P rolling.
I'll give shit to those people that I'm close to and be like, what the fuck's wrong with you about X, Y, and Z? But that's not
Right.
gonna, that's me keeping it real with my close friends.
people that you care about.
Yeah.
I think modern comedians, I have that same problem. Like,
Well, the only reason I brought back to Theo, sorry to cut you off, and I'll let you go, is because Mark Norman says wild shit. Wild shit.
and
He
that's,
annoys me all the time too.
All right, cool.
and that's another thing.
sure.
Is like I think how it's said is like Mark Norman kind of says it like I'm being innocent about saying this, and Theo Vaughn is like I say this because I want people to react to it. Both of them are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think you could say that about either one of them, but also my bar is if it's funny or not.
Well,
If it's funny,
Yeah.
then I let it go no matter what it is, and I know that not everybody agrees with
for
that.
sure. It's like we were talking about earlier. It's just like when people get into like the cancel culture thing, and they're like, oh, you can't fucking say anything. It's like,
Sure you can.
you can say anything you want. You just don't want to be held accountable. You don't want to fucking say anything. It's like, shut the fuck
So if
up.
you say something that's
I'm like,
atrocious,
if you want to,
accept the backlash.
if it's so important for you to fucking say the N-word,
yeah.
how are you saying it? Are you saying it thoughtful, or you just want to be able to say it? Because then you're just a fucking racist.
Yeah.
And you're just a fucking asshole. And it's just like, okay, cool. Well, then you can live and die on that fucking hill. And it's not. And here's the thing: it's not interesting.
You know,
You're not doing anything special with it.
You shouldn't want
You know-
to say the N-word.
You exactly.
No, but I'll be honest with y'all. I'll be honest with y'all.
Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
have attempted to tell a story, and I've talked to you about this,
Mm-hmm.
and I've talked to you about this, where someone called me the N-word, and I attempted to tell it in them saying it to me,
Right.
and the people in the room said that's inappropriate, and so I never told the story. To this day, that story's not been told on NLJBS Bullshit. It's one of the best stories I have.
Uncle Dave.
But somebody
Okay.
said that you shouldn't do that. So I don't do that. But I never wanted to do it. I never was eager to do it. I was simply telling one of the greatest stories I had.
Let me ask you this: can you tell that story and just instead of saying the word, can you tell the story and just say like, then they called me the N-word and blah blah blah, and keep it moving? Because the story should still be just as good without actually having to say it.
It has less impact to the setting, and the people.
Okay.
But I don't need to tell it. I don't need to tell that story.
Sure.
I'm not salivating to tell that story.
Right.
That's just a story that just happened to me. By the way, I've been called the N-word more times than anybody you can imagine by all the black people that it's crazy. But I don't have a desire. I don't call them that.
Right.
In an affectionate way.
Right.
Or in a negative way.
Absolutely not in a negative way.
I've never heard you say it anyway. And as a matter of fact, I would even go further to say the only time I've ever heard you use it is to quote somebody.
Right. If I'm telling a story.
To your point, I think that.
But I do say rhymes sometimes in my car.
Yes.
Because
by yourself.
I was born in 1978.
And do you lock?
But
while you're listening to it, do you lock your door when you see a black person walking by?
No.
Because that's from Office Space.
I keep it on. But no, I'm not salivating to tell that story or say the N-word.
Sure.
But if someone tells me that I shouldn't do that, then I'll take their word for it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I just think that.
But I'm not dying to say it. You know what I mean?
I think in telling a story, there's a problem with pulling a punch. Like pulling a punch in a story is tough. Because listening to you tell stories for years and years and years, and me telling stories for years and years and years, like in that situation, like, would you feel comfortable using the word or saying the N-word? There's a bit of pulling a punch to that. And I think, like, to what you were trying to do initially when you told that story, you didn't want to pull that punch. Yeah. Because it being used, I think I know the story you're talking about, and it being used in that, it's great. It's an awesome story. And it's honestly a story of people coming together. If it's the right one.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's these guys being like, oh, y'all are with us, you know? Right. But, like, there's this guy, Tyrone, who was, when we had the space down the street, before I had both sides, Tyrone had one side, he's a barber, and he's a wild cat.
Dude,
and one day, he's just like, yo, what are you doing, man? And I was like, I got some time. He's like, let's burn one. Let's take a ride.
Yeah.
And it was before JMU was closed off, and so...
Since what was closed off?
JMU, the local university.
JMU.
James Madison University. You used to be able to ride through there, and then eventually they put up those swing arms so you couldn't ride through there just to look at
the basically, like construction workers on their time off would drive through there and stare at chicks. Like in spring or summer, you know.
Got it, okay.
But also, I'll also say that when Alley Cat Tattoo opened, there was 8,400 students there, and now there's 27,000. So, things have changed. You can't just have traffic in there.
Sure, fair.
But prior to that...
But well before they got to that number.
me and Tyrone are riding through smoking an L and just bullshitting. And he's like talking about all these girls. And I was like looking at these girls. And I was like, these girls are cute. But a lot of these bitches too skinny. And he goes, oh, you just like an N-word, ain't you? And so I can tell that story.
Sure.
And delivers perfectly. Yeah. Right? It translates exactly. He goes, oh, you just like an N-word, ain't you? And I'm like... I'm just saying, some of these girls need to eat some ribs, Yeah. Like, that's what I was talking about, and that works just fine. But this other story I'm telling...
mutual appreciation for the thickness.
Right.
Yes. The thickness that binds us.
Shouts to Tyrone, yo.
Shouts to thickness.
Yeah. Anyway, we should probably not talk about anything this serious.
I mean, it's I don't know, it's fine.
All I'm saying, when it comes to comedy, if it's funny, it's funny. And when it comes to your intention, if your intention is to divide or hurt, then fuck you.
Yeah. Agreed.
But,
100%. That's with anything that comes out of anybody's mouth, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for me to swallow sometimes that I have to accept that as well. But I think that's a truthful thing to say about anybody.
Yeah.
If you're thoughtful, I mean, you can, like, listen to people and, like, be like, yeah, okay, cool. I get that point of view. It's like when you, whatever. Anyways,
but the second that so if you're a white dude, the second that you have to explain your place in black culture, then you've already fucked up.
You're already 100%.
If you have to tell people that you're down, then you're not down. Or
It is the. Well, this has come up a couple times today. It's like, don't talk about it, be about it.
right.
It's like it's the shit that when no one's looking, what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amen.
I have to piss. Talk amongst yourself.
Yeah.
I have all of that sake to fucking piss.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were gonna do the Civil War is either civil nor war. Discuss amongst yourselves.
The Revolutionary War is never.
I
Sake.
can't reference Mike Myers right now. I can't.
Why can't you reference Mike Myers? Does he hate Mike Myers? What do you have against Mike
He
Myers?
loves it. So
Is it Canadians? Sorry.
years ago, when I went to Kings Ave, Rube and Weatherholz was drinking sake, and
God, that's smoky.
I was just like,
It smells good.
"Taste it, motherfucker. Do you want it?"
I fucking got a mouthful of bourbon.
And I was just like, "Wow, what are they drinking?" And I wanted to have something for for Weatherholz. So Rube told me what kind of get. I'm like, or Sarah actually went and got a couple bottles for him.
I was hanging with George, and we
Yeah.
the
Did you
best.
tell him he's my favorite person?
No, I didn't. I didn't know that, but he's
Fuck that.
one of my favorite people in life. And
He's
just
top.
in general.
Just
Dude,
top.
he is top shelf
Tops.
all across the board.
Shout out
In
to
his
George
shop,
Archer.
I walked into a
It's
shop.
an emporium, bro. It's
I
the
walk-
biggest shop. Have you been? Is it bigger than this shop? Did I beat him? Is it bigger? What has more square footage? It's huge.
I think square footage wise, you got him beat, but as far as like walking in and going,
He's got a way higher ceiling
holy
than that.
shit.
His
Yeah,
ceiling's
like
way higher.
everything comes at you at once. Like you have to like hit the labyrinth. Like eventually.
But when you
you're
get down the
done.
hall, you start looking in the stations at the stuff that's hanging and stuff, man. Yo, shouts to George Archer, Tantrum Tattoo, Petersburg, Virginia, man.
Amazing.
Whoa. Impactful. Yo, it makes an impact on you when you go in there.
Oh yeah, by far. Because I don't know if there's a word for it. I'm sure some kid somewhere is memeing about it, but you think of things one way and like you remember them one way, and then you see it again and it's totally different. I remember what the shop looked like, and he met me at the shop in the morning, so I wouldn't go drop my shop stuff off, and we walk in, and it was like, oh, this is so much bigger.
Yeah.
And
Mega
so
huge.
much more like things, you know.
Yeah.
And he is like, I'm sure you've seen like pictures of Trevino Station where there's all the little like statues and
What do they
little
call
things
them?
everywhere.
What do they call those things? Chomskys or something
A
like that?
tchotchke is
Tchotchke?
just a collectible, but I think I guess you could so because his are like modern toys, but yeah, a tchotchke is any modern or old, I guess.
Yeah.
But you walk in and his is that shop is like just little collectible upon little collectible. There's tons of little like maybe 2x2 windows that are real deep. Like they have like a lot of framing in them, and they're packed. Each one's packed.
Yeah.
Who shop?
George Archer in Petersburg,
Okay.
where I work today. It's an amazing shop. It is like you walk in and shit.
George came up with Josh Brown, absolute art guy.
Cool.
But I was telling
Great
him
tattoo.
about Rube, and I was telling him about hanging out with Frank, and Frank telling me and Cam about Rubendahl.
He did
like,
a spot at Da Vinci not long ago.
Yeah, it was amazing.
sick.
It was amazing. And we went to a coffee shop like around the corner from the shop.
Okay.
And
Like behind the shop?
kind of, it was a really nice, like real cozy little joint. Like you could get
The
like,
living room, sort of like
yeah, like you ordered a coffee and it came in a little mug.
Weatherholz knows.
Yeah.
I know.
Yo, dude, it
I
was
know
great.
Long Island. Yeah.
And immediately I was like, my wife needs to play music here. He told me a story. He was like, I probably would have been out of game a long time ago where I would have just been an owner and not active if it wasn't for Rube, which is a really cool thing to hear. Because
that's
Rube
interesting.
kept him fresh. Huh?
That's interesting to hear. I never heard that take from him.
Yeah, Rube kept him fresh, he said. To a degree. Like, because, he's coming from what Larry taught him to where he's at now, there's a lot of differences. And one of the stories he said was that Mike came back from, this is one of my favorite stories that Frank told me. Mike came back from getting tattooed by Philip, and Philip had been making his own gray washes. Like, instead of dipping or dropping,
Right.
he was making containers of a premixed gray wash. And he came into Da Vinci, and that's what Mike was doing. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing over here? He's like, oh, I was doing this. This is what they do. And he's like, wait a minute, what do you do? Like, they pre-mix their black with their water or whatever it is so that they have it readily available so it's always consistent. And, like, you know, Frank tells it, and, like, I asked him, like, what are they doing? He did this. He goes, what are you, some fucking kind of pussy? God damn.
Yeah.
And it was just fucking great because it was like, but you know, he accepted it after that. He knew, like this is what it was.
Frank's got wherewithal for sure.
Yeah, because the beginning of that conversation was, I had somebody answering our phones, and my old man was like, she's answering the phone? Why do you even have a phone? And it was like, but if we have a phone, people find out where we're at and what we're doing, and then if we have somebody answering it, I don't have to stop tattooing. You know, it was like that mindset. Yeah. But it was just like that conversation was him. It was really cool listening to him talk about changing from the Peter Paulos like mindset to a much more modern mindset.
Bro, did you listen to the Magnati episode?
I know the stories he told. I didn't listen to it.
Come on, bro.
I know
I said I'm near my friend. I won't do that to you, but come on, bro. Magnati episode. The flight home.
How did Frank say it?
Magnati. Bro. So crazy.
I know he told two stories that I already know really well. So I was just kind of like, I feel like I know it all. Maybe not though.
First of all, you haven't heard me on anyway. The Magnati shit's crazy, but you know, just the fact that Larry was saying to Magnati, "I hope you don't make a fucking penny over there at Frank's shop."
Yeah,
it's bananas.
Me and God,
it's bananas.
The fact that me and Chris work together now once a week. Magnati works at Good Luck every Friday.
Ill tattooing.
It's fucking awesome. It's like. That was a cool day when I first started working there, and he's like, I knew one day we'd work together, and I was like, fuck yeah!
Wow, what a cool thing to hear.
It was cool. It was really cool, and because I had a lot of respect for him. I was like, oh, he's such a nasty fucking tattooer, and just like charismatic, fun, like
optimistic, bright.
He is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like, I just love his persona.
He's really like. Yeah, it's great to work with him, but yeah, it's like, so I've heard a lot of those stories, so I'm kind of like, it's kind of like hearing an interview with Rubendell at this point where I'm just like,
no, it's different.
It is different. It's
because Ruben's more control. Magnati gets loose.
I'm just saying, I've been around these guys a minute now. I'm just like, I know the stories. but I will listen. Also, if you haven't listened to the Chris Magnati episode, go listen to it because Chris has the best stories.
Wildest shit you've heard.
Wildest stories. Like, he just has wild shit happen to him. And the kidnapping story.
Yeah.
Go back. If you haven't listened to the Chris Magnati No Lies Just Bullshit episode, go listen to it. And listen to that shit. Anyways.
I want to ask you a tattoo question.
Yes.
He was talking about, earlier he said, you don't put it in your cup or dip.
Yeah.
You've been tattooing long enough. Did you ever do black and gray tattooing where you got your tip full of black and dipped it in water and tattooed?
I'm confident enough now to do that, but...
It's not an easy thing to do. Can you just talk about it a little bit?
Sure. So it started with working with Joe. So working with Joe, right. I'd be remiss not to bring that up because Joe
Connor's the one for us, but
Joe Johns, who I do Pagoda with, who taught me how to tattoo. He is he's like an OG from the Jack Rudy. We were talking about Cap. Like he just was around all those guys and watched them do all their tricks and brought them and like applied his own version of doing it and had that perfect balance of line work and finesse of the way those guys did that thing. And Joe has his thing with it, but he had the fantasy angle. He doesn't get the props that he does or that he deserves in my eyes because he kept it really local.
Sure.
But he's so good at
But
it.
those back
He
pieces
just
are
whip
out
it
there.
out.
Those sleeves are out
Yeah, they're
there.
out there. Yeah. So, anyways, but so I saw Joe do it a lot, and I watched him do a lot of portraits, and I watched how he like laid those out, and I watched how he applied them for years, and I never did it because I'm like, he's doing them, so I never did it. But then when I started working at King's Ave, it didn't take me long to be like, well, I know how to do that shit, and then I started doing it, and then I remember I did my first portrait, and Rube was like, yeah, I got a portrait guy. What's up? And it was.
But it's also different. That era portrait's different.
It's different, but
than a Bob Shaw portrait, or then Bob Tyrell. It's a different thing.
But I got tattooed by Bob. I was showing that tattoo earlier, and so it was like all that smooth fucking. I was like, yeah, I learned a lot from getting tattooed by Bob and like watching his shit as well. So like I had that combination of those things. So for me now, I have 5 ink caps. One solid black. I'm like, how much do I want to give away right now?
Well, how was
You can make
when
hand
you
motions.
did that?
You know what?
When you did that, I point my thumb at him. He does the same thing you do.
Yeah. You know what? It kind of doesn't matter at this point because I'm just like, you can tell people what you do. They're still gonna like. It's not gonna be the same. It doesn't matter. It doesn't actually matter.
They don't know.
They're not doing it.
Anyways, all right.
can
Here,
tell them
so
all
I do. I have 5 ink caps. Talons by itself on the first one. Second one is. I'll do like a weird combination depending on like the tattoo I'm about to do, where it's like 8 or 9 drops of talons and then like 4 to 6 drops of pelican.
Oh, okay.
And then the next one is
a lot of them aren't doing that.
4 and 4. People sleep on pelican.
Yeah, they do.
4 and 4 on talons pelican.
smoky.
2 and 2 on talons pelican. And 1 and 1 on talons pelican.
Wow.
That's it. And then you fill that ink up, and no one knows what ink cap size, because that's the other
It's
thing.
also key.
Because I'll say it's a medium size one because you guys don't have the size that I usually use, so I had to figure it out here.
Yeah.
It's not my usual thing. And then shout out to Becca Janae Bacon because she got
Ill tattooer.
She's the shit.
Yeah. I don't know her well, but she's always nice to me.
She's the best.
Very nice to meet you.
Yeah.
She did this thing where she's like, she has one of these like $10 Amazon ink mixers, and I remember I was like, fuck, that thing's awesome. And she's like, yeah, I don't know why all you guys don't use this fucking thing. And I took her. It's just a little little spinner thing, and I just started using that in my wash, and it just, you've been tattooing for like half an hour, and all of your mixes are just right.
Yeah.
And you're like, ooh, there it is.
A little bit of blood.
This just gets you there.
Do you want to give up what you mix it with?
Water.
Water.
I just use water.
So I was told.
I've never used witch hazel. I've never used alcohol. I've never used fucking any.
Okay, I get. I had a Absolute Boys were looking at a tattoo I'd done, and they're like, what do you mix it with? And because it was real, like they kept saying it was real silvery, and I was like, oh, just Listerine, and they're like, yeah, that's it. And how long do you leave your caps? And I normally set up and then put stencils and draw on. And they're like, yep, you let it sit for a long time.
You're not mixing talons and pelican like he is.
No.
And that's no way. I don't think they're doing that.
That's awesome to hear because pelican
It's a slight tone because it's more a little more cool because
a little smoke to it, a little slight.
It's fun. It's me.
But those are the two.
Well, I mean, I got a sticker heart on my chest that Eddie Geary did in 1996.
Have you ever seen this tattoo?
With pelican, and every great tattooer that I've ever been in a pool with has been like, who did that tattoo?
Right.
Because it just has a fade away smoky to it.
Is it dripping? Dripping.
All over my body.
He's glistening.
But like Andrew, like I watch Andrew tattoo me and many other people.
Yeah.
And there's a certain amount of Vaseline on the skin, right? Mm-hmm. So he'll like go talons, rinse cup, and tattoo, and a pool will form on the surface of the skin.
And you use the pool.
That he's using the pool. And seeing how black that is, man.
And then
shit's crazy.
As Andy will say, chasing the bubble and using the blood. Like Like as soon as
it's like you.
And that's for experienced tattooers only. You know, people that listen that don't know, they don't know.
Yeah.
Your black and gray, there's something very special about your black and gray.
Thank you.
I've looked at your black and gray for a very long time. Emulating is very hard, and understanding is very hard because you either do it very simply or very hard or very complicated. But it doesn't matter. I have to watch you do it.
Yeah. Thank you.
And no problem. But to say that you're using talons and pelican is like that's that thing that like.
I thought you were about to give away how much.
I'm giving away a lot right there, honestly.
But I thought you were about to say how many.
It's also like
talons versus water. Like I thought you were going to say number of drips. You know, like a full talon and then 4 drops of talon and 3 and 2. I thought you were going to say plus water.
Yeah.
I didn't dream you were going to say plus pelican.
Oh yeah.
But most people don't even. They sleep on pelican, dog. They sleep on pelican.
Well,
there was a big movement when I got into tattooing.
See, that's the shit.
That was done in 1996.
Who did that again?
Eddie Year. He worked for Danny Fowler. 1996. And just look at that fucking flame go away from you.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a great tattoo.
Every great tattooer who's ever seen me with a shirt off goes, who did that?
Yeah. It's great. It's got the juice.
Yeah, there's a whole lot, like when I got into tattooing, there was a whole lot
But that's pelican, though.
about getting away from pelican, getting away from talons because they were drawing inks. They weren't made for tattooing. And then, like with pelican, there was apparently a double boiler.
Yeah, neither was talons. Talons wasn't made for tattooing either.
Yeah, that's what pelican and talons were made for drawing for ink, for illustrative work.
Right.
And then there was like the double boiler trick with pelican, and then, like all the shit, and people were moving away from it, and it was like I got swept up in that because that was what was new when I was younger. But like Mike Brummett started asking me questions about black and gray. Nothing that like I could necessarily answer, but it became a thing where it was like, what about pelican again? What about talons again? And it was like, there's nothing fucking broken about it.
Yeah.
You know?
I know, I don't know that he's going to want me to say anything, but I know someone that is a very prolific, well-known tattooer in a shop that I may or may not work at. I won't even specify which one. That is just like, I just use talons for everything.
I'll say you
and I was kind of like, oh shit, okay, yeah, you just use talons. He's like, yeah, it does the thing. Which is just kind of like, it's the classic. It's not the arrow. It's the archer.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah.
You can say you're giving up too much.
I know a different version of that, but yeah.
You can say you're giving up too much, but that's all a matter of the horse to water. You can't make them fucking. You can't.
Well, yeah, I can give you all of the things, but like your voice needs to be yours.
You can give them a pile of Legos. They can't necessarily build what you're asking them to build.
Yeah.
So it's never like that's not really a concern.
Yeah.
You know? It's awesome that you share that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Man, black and gray tattooing is so rich. I love it so much.
Oh man, I think it's the thing that I look at and I go, man, that's cool. So you want color? I feel like I can hide behind color because
You do great black and gray, though.
I appreciate
You
that.
do different black and gray. You and Andy, I was talking to Jake about this recently. You and Andy do different black and gray than Richie and Trevor. Their stuff's a little trickier, and yours is a little bolder.
Yeah, I think.
But I like the weight of yours because
Thank
of
you.
my age. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Have you ever
I don't
really
know.
looked at Trevor's black and gray?
Trevor that works here.
Trevor's black and gray is like the tweakiest shit in the world.
It's really, really good.
And it's thoughtful and it's concerned. Like there's a lot of things about it that.
Like when he tattoos, his eyebrows are down.
Oh, by far.
Like he's right.
Yeah, dude.
It's concerned.
I'm concerned
Yeah,
about
but
this.
that's the word. That's the word that Trevor. Trevor.
Yeah.
Like trying to do something well is concerned, and like his. So my wife has a Reaper rose from him.
Yeah.
And it is the
Crazy.
best fucking tattoo,
Cool.
the best Reaper rose ever done.
When
And
we're
it
done
is-
here, I want to see it. I want to see a picture of it when we're done.
I don't even know if I can. I can get it for you. I can take a picture of it and bring it to you tomorrow when you tattoo me.
Great.
It's amazing. But his like, and this is years and years and years ago. And Richie is just like Richie I listen, like I always have a problem with how much.
So you saw Richie today tattooing, doing the black and gray stuff on the dude. Did you happen to see the healed stuff on his arm, the cards?
I did. Oh yeah, I commented on it. I was like, this is fucking gorgeous. Well, that's a great example of like stuff that's like, it's got the great. It has the perfect combination of like finesse, softness, and like it's like gonna be there forever in the way that you want it to, and like in 20 years it's gonna look different, but it's gonna look fucking great.
Well, there's also like black in it.
Right.
I don't want black and gray to be just gray tones. I want black and gray. I want
Power.
deep power, depth to it. I want it to be like you could reach in there. It's like we were looking at that painting of yours earlier.
Yeah.
Like the blacks are, like the reason the stuff behind it pops is because the stuff behind that's black. It's not gray. It's black.
Yeah.
Tats, y'all. Tats.
Dude,
I love the game, yo.
I downloaded.
I love it so
I
much.
downloaded Rick Rubin's book and was listening to it because he reads it and it's really cool listening to him talk about just art and like being creative. And there was a section where it was like sometimes you just have to like revisit something and just keep revisiting it until you get it the way you want it. Like old ideas, even if it's new to you, old ideas because like an idea that you just started on. Now,
sure.
That part of it is old now. And I was like, okay, I can give Richie a pass. Because Richie will beat a design up and just try to get every angle of it before he applies it.
Yeah, but
really,
what the application is.
It's flawless.
Yeah.
Flawless.
Yeah.
And then there are people who are completely spontaneous.
That's the awesome thing about about artists, because it's just like that's why you can argue and you can like fucking try to push your preference. It's just like, there's like you can be super technical, and if you're super technical and that's your game, then that's your game, and you're not wrong for having that as your angle, because that's part of your personality. It's part of your what you're bringing to the table, and man, it's like that's what keeps this shit interesting. That's what keeps this shit like really. That's why repetition is interesting. Mm-hmm. Because like a skull. It's like, okay, cool. Here's all these different skulls from all these different people. Wow, they're all pretty fucking cool in their own way. And you're like, oh, I hate this one. But some motherfucker over here on the right or the left is like, oh, that's my skull.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and no one's wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well,
There's no
it's just like the MC thing. It's like,
yeah,
Black Thought versus Gucci Mane.
Gucci Mane.
I love Gucci
different
Mane.
worlds.
Black Thought is one of the illest MCs alive, right?
So good.
But Gucci Mane got some joints.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little Boosie, kill them all.
I love Boosie, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just way different, you know what I mean?
I bring it all, I always bring all of my visual art to, it's easier for me to articulate any sort of like critique through music for me. It's easier. Yeah. It's like fucking rock and roll. It's like why the first time you hear a note from an AC/DC song, it's been done time and time and time again. But Angus Young fucking played one note. It's the same shit. And then someone else was just like, well, that note's cool, but I'm over here, I'm playing it like this, and maybe I'm up, like, however the fuck, it's like, it keeps it interesting. It's just like, and it's like the honoring of the past, the love of the sound, the love of the line work. It's one and the same, and it's just like people love to like get heated about X, Y, and Z, or you can just be like, I just love it all. It's fucking great. Well, that's awesome. And I'm with you. We were talking about this earlier, where it's like that's my angle. I'm just like, I don't know, like don't show, like you said, don't show me a bad tattoo. Show me something cool. Show me good shit. And like I'm not interested in like talking shit. I'm like, I don't know. It's just like, let's just fucking get into the, let's
fucking go.
Let's have critique. Critique can happen for sure. That's great, but
critique can also be like what I do and don't like about that, but that doesn't negate the power or the value of it.
Yeah, it's like being able to say like, oh, this is not my jam, but it's not because it's bad. It's just like it's just not for me. Right,
but yeah. Or like I like this aspect of that, but look, see that banner right there? Connor's like, yo, I want to do a convention banner. I go, word. He goes, yeah. What you like to see? I go, man, you know that fucking tattoo, like Tattoo City, big stone letters? He goes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I go, I want something like that.
Stone letters are the best.
He's like, all right, word. And
I did that for my trip here. I did it yesterday.
Yeah.
The A and the C.
Yeah,
I did
A
it.
and the C, yeah. You see it? Yeah.
I'm so stoked you're here, by the way.
It's
So jazzed.
So
so nice to be here.
I go, like, so I tell him that, and he cuts the piece of, because Connor, like, cut the canvas. You know what I mean? Like, he's like that guy.
Yeah, size.
And so he's like, I get it. And I was like, got the size.
Cuts it, primes it, gets to work.
And he's like, I was like, 2 weeks later, I'm like, how's that thing coming? He's like, not coming. And I was like, well, hey, man, don't ever think that, right? Like, I said it could be big stone letters, but it doesn't have to be. He's like, all right. And like a week later, I go, you put anything down on the thing? He goes, yeah, I did, as a matter of fact. But, I got the letters in there, but I got like a panther and a leopard and a dragon and a dagger and a sword and a tiger and some rocks. And I'm like, word. He was like, yeah, once you told me it didn't have to be one thing, I thought it could be everything. And then he showed me that banner right there with like 2 naked girls, 2 cats, the tiger, the dagger, the purple cloud. He's like, yeah, it's everything now.
That's awesome. It doesn't have to be one thing, but it could be everything.
My favorite thing in the world is having that behind me and somebody going like,
Yeah.
where y'all from?
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, that's great.
All right, boys, you want to wrap it up?
Hey, thanks for having me once again.
This has been fun.
Well, how long y'all been doing this?
Fuck yeah.
3 hours.
Oh, shit. I hope I didn't interrupt too much.
It's going to drop pretty soon, so tell them
Great.
your show and your band in Brooklyn.
If you're feeling spicy and you're in the New York area on April 24th,
It's Night Sports.
come see Night Sports at Night Sports, NITE Sports NYC.
Follow the gram, y'all. Get on board.
Listen to our music. If you don't like it, don't say anything. If you love it,
If you don't like it,
repost
go
it.
fucking mother.
And man, this is your final chance to come to Pagoda City this year.
tattoos.
If you love tattoos, if you,
It's an incredible show.
it is literally something we want everyone to come out to. Come have a good time. We got the best after party. We got like everyone hanging out. We got all the food trucks. We got all the drinks. We got all the
Tattooers.
If you're not into drinks, we have just like the best hangs, best tattooers.
Best people.
We just want everyone to come out and like make this last year a really, really fucking big, awesome one. And
So
thanks for letting
first week in August.
August 1, 2, 3, first, second, third
Tell them how to look at your shit online and
at Pagoda City Tattoo Fest. My shit is at Justin Weatherholz.
at Good Luck.
At Good Luck NYC. Shout out to Kiku and Hembo.
Big
And also, I'd be remiss to not shout out Kings Avenue Tattoo, Mike Rubendahl, and all of our friends out there. And yeah, again, it's great. It's great to see you guys.
Pete, you want to tell them?
So glad to be here. Porter_electric, and I'm at Alley Cat Tattoo, along with Jake Hockman, Richie Stutler, Brian Tiger, Trevor Smith, and Andrew motherfucking Connor.
If you're not on board with Justin Weatherholz and Chris Porter, that's okay.
This is love. What do you believe in? I got it in a paper bag. I've got my reasons for leaving, but I can't. You would never understand.
No lies, just bullshit.